Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Series Z Apex Legends. My name is Yeso. I will be your host today as we kick off our second of 4 qualifiers here for Season 5 of Series Z Apex Legends. So excited to be back here with all of you, ready to get the qualifier action underway. Games are coming up quickly, and I got a lot to get through here, so let's roll through it. First of all, for those of you that are new, I want to break down just what Series Z is all about, okay? Now, Series Z is a professional esports circuit across multiple titles. We've got Halo Infinite, Guilty Gear Strive, and of course, Apex Legends. The way it works is players come out and compete in our open qualifiers just like today. The best of the best get signed and join Series Z. Now, what does that mean for them? They sign a contract, they get a monthly salary, they get drafted to represent one of our partnered brands, and they get to compete weekly for points and prize money. So if you and your friends want to get in on the action, head over to matchareno.com/ESA to sign up. And even if you don't qualify, there are still open night competitions for Series Z every single week. So make sure to check that out. Now, as we get into tonight's qualifiers, teams have competed in 2 lobbies so far tonight. We have grabbed the top 20 teams from those first couple of lobbies. They will be competing tonight in the finals lobby, trying to rack up as many points as they can, and we'll be getting into those 6 games here very soon. Before we do that, I want to tell you a little bit about one other thing we're doing at Esports Arena these days, and it's called PvE. Now, we know some of you love these big, long, hardy tournaments to compete in, but others maybe don't have the time, don't have the desire to dedicate that much to an event. They want to compete in esports a little bit more bite-sized forms. Well, PvE is the answer. Today, Monday through Sunday, every single week, you can head out to your local esports arena and compete in PvE. We set up 4 different leaderboards every single week across a range of different titles that you can compete in. Go into your local esports arena, you purchase tokens that are used for entry in the different leaderboards, enter in those leaderboards, and put up your best scores. Each different leaderboard has its own individual $500 prize pool every single week, and you can keep track of your scores over on our YouTube channel. We have a 24/7 stream that you can keep an eye on to see how your scores are performing. And maybe on a Thursday or Friday, you put up a score and it's not quite near the top. On Saturday, you can head back in and compete once again. And you can compete in titles like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Home Run Derby. We do all kinds of stuff with Aim Labs, as well as Valorant and other games, and even Mario Kart, like my friend K2 is competing on here today. You can go and put up your best scores, so you constantly are kicking your friends' butts in Mario Kart. Maybe head over and see what you can do against the rest of the country in PvE and earn yourself some cash while you're there. So use exclamation point locations in Twitch chat right now. You can find an esports arena location near you, and you can go out and compete in PvE today. K2 putting down a great time right now, speeding through this track as we come back here into the studio. So make sure if you could beat K2's time, let us know. Head out to the esports arena, put up that top score. Now we're ready to get into the games here tonight. Got a couple of great casters joining us on the day, and they'll get you into all of the fun here. But let's kick it off. It's the second of 4 qualifiers here today as we get it rolling with Series Z Apex Legends.
You are the...
All right, welcome everybody.
Series E Apex Legends.
All of World's Edge explodes into chaos, and G2 around the corner, taking what is rightfully there.
More with our Ash player Musin involved, and it's going to quickly switch to the Peacekeeper, putting down damage quick as
that Fury starts it off with the devotion and does so much work. May have single-handedly clutched it for Vizio, and with the last shotgun shot, does it
Let's get the games underway, man. I'm ready to go.
Welcome everybody to Series E, not E-Series, it's Series Z, it's Season 5. T-Squared and Zephyr are going to be bringing you the action. We're in our qualification process. It's day 2 of 4. Zephyr, how you feeling after watching that last intense match right there?
I was about to say, we got the opportunity to check out some of the qualification earlier matches going into what is our final lobby here today. And we actually got to check out, I believe, the final instances of both of them, where we saw some of the squads find their victories here. And I'll tell you what, I'm excited. Granted, a lot of these are kind of unknown names making their first foray into at least some form of an esports scene here in Apex.
Yeah, but when you look at the teams that have been competing on the first day, I think that you'd be pleasantly
Some of them.
surprised to see teams like, you have Six out there, who's, a former tournament winner, to teammate with Nicewig as well. So there's a lot of heavy hitters, and if you're new to Series E Apex Legends, well, this is one of the best ways to get involved. Once this qualification process happens, there's going to be an open day and the pro day. So you can still get involved. If you want to go and try to qualify, you can go and do so as we take a look at the format. The prize pool, it's $500, but just like Yeso is saying, it's all about trying to secure these last 3 spots, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it is 3 spots that we're going to be giving away for our partner teams. Not really giving away, these teams are earning them, right? And I think that Esports Arena has been doing such a great job. If you don't follow the stream, make sure you click that follow button. You can also subscribe, and make sure that you guys also use code WELCOME for 10% off in the online store for shop.esportsarena.com. But look at this format right here. It's your typical ALGS format, Zephyr.
Yeah, right away, you can see that these teams will be accumulating points much the same way that you've expected over the course of any Apex tournament that has probably been your vice for this extended period. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be these final matches that we broadcast that count. The points will accumulate over time, and the top 3 teams coming out of our 4 qualifiers will be moving on to join one of our sponsored entities here as we approach the intro to Season 5. But as you can see on your screen there, here are the 20 teams that are joining us here today in our qualifier. Some of them, some familiar names, even some that are joining us from previous iterations of some of these older rosters. I immediately see Bursty there on BP, and he was playing on what was that, I believe, the Razor roster.
Yeah, you have a lot of friendly names in here, right? You have Crummy from Back and Better with Mini, with Lion. That's going to be a really fun team to watch. Definitely look out for them. Z Davis, Joey Blackout, and Oxy on Team Redeem. This is a team that's already sitting inside of the top 3. Keep your eye on this team for sure. Senpai on Unlucky. We were talking about Zephyr watching the previous match here, and we were able to see, and it wasn't on stream because we were getting ready to set this thing up for the finals, but it's Unlucky that won the last game, so that's another team to watch out for. Void with Borton, Blitz, and Sung. Sung, a former ALGS tournament winner as well. Really nasty, caustic overall. So I'm excited to get these matches underway. The players are getting into the lobbies right now. But what are the teams that are going to kind of stand out that we don't really know about? You may know Lonely Fans, for example. Blueberry, Grinch, Arcology. That's a really solid squad to go and look out for. So we have a handful of familiar names, and I would say the other half of the lobby, Zephyr, like you mentioned previously, a little unfamiliar, and this is their opportunity to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, if you've had the opportunity to potentially sit down and watch some of the kind of alternative, maybe tier 3, tier 2 S streams that have existed here in Season 13, some of these might be a little bit more familiar, but they aren't proven yet. I notably look towards Tap Strafers. Of course, Lonely Fans, as you just brought up, coming second in the recent qualification match that we had the opportunity to check out. Gas Station Gaming, Cerberus, some bigger names that tend to play in tournaments such as, I believe, Nerd Street time and time again. And one big one, though, that we failed to mention, Optimal Ambition, currently sitting at that top of the leaderboard, 46 points, currently tied right alongside Redeem, leading the pack. So definitely a fan favorite that could be potentially taking one of these spots away.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of nades. We've seen Boxa T and Blakeu before, too. So I'm excited to see what that team's going to be able to do. I haven't seen, CEC. I haven't heard of these guys before. Give No Respect. Some, unfamiliar names here that I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to play, because if there was ever a place to go and do that, that's where Series E and what Esports Arena is all about. I mean, we've seen Team Esports Arena, for example, go and get signed by orgs. We're providing so many different opportunities, or Esports Arena's provided so many opportunities in this, incubator league, basically, to go and see who's going to be able to, stack up and where they stack up and kind of determine what the meta is going to be. We have the newest update that just came out, a lot of different changes that have been happening overall going into Apex Legends. So it's been exciting after we had the playoffs going into the championships coming up in a month or so, month and a half, to see what's going to be happening now that we're getting this new season 5 underway here for Series E.
Yeah, and for the last few weeks, I know some of you may already understand that we've been having some server issues, so a lot of what's to be interpreted regarding Season 13 hasn't really made its way through. No one has actually gotten the opportunity to see some of the changes when we talk about Newcastle, some buffs towards the weapons, the change-ups regarding what's in the crafter, actually make its impact towards the competitive scene. And I may have had the opportunity to cast a few streams here nor there, but correct me if I'm wrong, Tom. This is maybe your first interpretation of Season 13?
It is, yeah. I mean, I got a chance to play it, and I've been enjoying it. You know, it's a lot. us through the break. If you missed the open of the show, we revealed all of what's going on in Season 14 and in Season 15. We made our predictions for the champ. No, we didn't really do all of that, but we're getting game number 1 underway here very shortly because of the time constraints of what's going on. We had to shave off one of the games. We're going to be doing 5 games here, but that means every game's going to matter that much more as we take a look at Unlucky, the winners from the previous game before we got into this round, where you are going to be getting points. This is a team to watch out for. Senpai is absolutely no joke, and they're landing over towards the Skyhook side. Zephyr, you can see the car PK pretty good off the rip. This should be solid for Tsunami.
Just finding some of the angles that might give them the start towards their drop. Just trying to peek through that window there, but still aren't getting quite the breaks. Now that Cost is going to run straight into that PK shot, and it's only one more tick that'll do him in. This is just a quick rush, and there you go. Jenny finally in the inside.
Really nice plays there. I mean, the PK prediction coming around. This team doesn't stand a chance, and
There you
there
go.
it is. Nerd Gaming, they are out of here. They just got nerded out of that building big time. You can see the angles were just so good from Tsunami. He was big chilling, and you know what? That tells me that they're not really worried about a third party, because the rule of Skyhook is if there's 3 teams over there, you want to be the third team showing up to the party. You don't want to be the first 2 teams fighting. You want to come through and play that cleanup crew. And typically when you see teams land over Skyhook, if there's going to be 3 teams, it's almost this mutual respect of no one necessarily fights. They all get their loot because there is enough loot for 3 teams, and then they ditch. So it's going to be interesting to see what Unlucky decides that they want to do now that they have all of Skyhook to themselves. Are they going to loot? Are they going to go on over to trials, take their sweet time, and then make the rotation? I guess that does depend on where the zone is going to be. If the zone's fairly far, you might as well just play the edge and get all of that loot that you need. But you saw the armors were looking really good. Again, the weapon choice was very solid. Speaking of solid, the flatline shots looking really good here for Most Hated. Interesting team composition coming through, almost like a Storm Point type of composition as you see Horizon coming back here.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of a return towards kind of that wombo when we talked about like the early beginnings of what was North America and second split, when everyone was kind of running back on that Horizon. You can see them try to take advantage. Meanwhile, CAA pressured in their own right. They're actually pinched from both angles here. Most of the shots that they're taking are actually from their behind in tree. Looks like they stemmed out a little too far forward and now are going to take the price.
Yeah, getting pinched like they weren't wearing green on St. Patrick's Day. They are out of here, though. You can see Added is trying to dip with the wingman in the car. This is not an ideal situation, right? You almost want to skyward dive out of here, but now that you can't do all the crazy stuff with Valkyrie as you're trying to skyward dive out, it looks like he's just kind of crouching and waiting for potential 1v1. The Wraith, smart choice to back off, realizes, hey, I might as well try to get some help around the corner over here. And now you can see no more shields coming through, just the syringes. Feels bad, man. Someone's going to really enjoy that gold mag if they can go and find that one off of the dead body. Great armor swap coming in through Added. I would love to see him go for this skyward dive if he can, but now he's just running into multiple teams. There's not really much that you can do, as Give No Respect is going to be hunting them down as well. You can see they're looking over towards the bottom inside of the zone over here too, so that's pretty good too. As you see, Mutuals only, that's a team to watch out for. Feral is extremely solid. You have Lifty, and then you got to watch out for them because they are on the high ground in the zone over here. Great shots as we were calling out Feral with that R301 3X, but a lot of damage going on over towards his shields. He's going to dip, dog, Dutch, and whatever, you know, dip, dodge, duck, and dive out of there, basically. And he's also Dutching because he's Dutch-oving inside of these buildings.
I think it's just crazy that you choose to go under there, right? I mean, we're talking early round 1, beginning close, and they couldn't hold any presence at any other point here on launch site, and they are forced onto that low ground. That's usually something you see when we start talking about like rounds 4 and further, when zone really starts to tighten up, which we're going to likely see this game as we finally get the opportunity to take a look at these zones here. With that zone 2 in effect, does give us the notion that this one will be a straight launch site zone, but already off the bat, most of the teams have made their way in towards that second. We're only kind of lagging behind on 3 or 4, just up on towards the chokes in the north.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see where teams elect to go and set up now that a lot of the real estate is going to be getting gobbled up. But I agree. That's an area where you go and hold down very late game. Going that early is just extremely questionable, and you're not really setting yourself up for success. Gas Station Gaming looking for the smoke over here towards the tree side. They are in the next zone as that one's going to be closing. You see a really aggressive angle coming in from Icy. I mean, this is just great confidence coming in from this team. You can see he's trying to get that Evo shield charged up to purple. He's only 34 away, so one more wingman shot. That's going to be 41 damage, and that is all she wrote to go and get that one on over towards the purple. But Jet, he's got the gold. They got the Loba. Black Market Boutique isn't going to be coming up here very anytime soon. That's at 37%. So I like that play. Go back and over towards the building, maybe reloot, get some more ammo, reset. The value of the gold armor, so nice because you can just toss those batteries on over towards your teammates. You're really only going to need cells.
Right there, I spy with my little eye the rampart covering that they have the opportunity to just kind of play with there. And it looks like there was one within the area that more than likely at this current point, from what we see right there, could have been already eliminated. But I'm not going to throw it out there just yet. Who knows what surprises wait in store here, especially because of the 13-13 changes we've seen. But for now, Most Hated still retaining their position on this most northern building for launch site here. And you can see them trying to pressure back already towards the interior where, as we already discussed, a lot of teams have begun to put themselves here. But ain't quite a legless on the bow there.
You can't really see anything either. I mean, let's be honest with you. It was like he's just shooting at the trails, basically. All that visual clutter coming in from the sun. Void looks like they're going to be getting into it with Z Davison's friends. That's a really solid squad. Two amazing teams here that we're highlighting in the pregame are going to be duking it out for a priority position to try to get control of this beacon. But you can see it's basically a 2-on-1, and Redeem is going to get the better. Or no, Redeem actually is eliminated by Void. So Redeem was a team that I believe is in the top 3 after yesterday. So that is not looking good for game 1 of 5 for them. Again, with shaving off one of the games here, not having 6 games. Every game is going to matter that much more. But Zephyr, that was a fairly clean fight. I mean, you would expect a little bit more from a team that's sitting inside of the top 3 right now. But that just shows how strong Team Void is at these fights.
Yeah, I mean, for Void themselves, I mean, they don't fare too worse in the standings. They sit in 4th right now, literally just right behind Redeem. So kind of going neck and neck to compete for some of those points. And while Void, you know, currently sits on the outside of what will be our further sponsored teams, it's games like this, performances that will continue to put them in a place where they could potentially take this one away from Redeem. So I won't count them out in any terms of skill set, but definitely wait to see their challenges when we start talking about games 2 and further.
Never really done this before, but I'm going to give out a shout out to our first sub today, MGS Poner. Welcome, man, because you know what? You're gonna get an opportunity to hop in to the sub-only Deal or Steal game show next week before Series E gets kicked off. That's big, man. That is absolutely huge. You could win some Tyler's CEO bathwater inside of the Esports Arena mystery box. That is by far the most coveted prize in all of Apex Legends.
You know, not the flat screen TVs or the Nerf blasters. I would take a blaster over some bathwater any day of the week.
I drank the bathwater, and I felt like $1 million afterwards. I did not feel bad at all.
I want to point out this is the second time I've casted this man, and in both times it has taken less than 15 minutes for him to bring up Tyler's bathwater.
I also bathe in the bathwater too. It's a really weird thing.
That's more appropriate.
You know, imagine what that would be going on eBay. T-Squared and Tyler's CEO double bathwater. Holy cow! It's like we bathe together.
That's what they call commodities. Those are assets. They appreciate.
Optimal Ambition, a team to watch out for. You can see they already get the knock right there and the flush on to Nick Sticks, and Nick Sticks had no idea what was coming for him over towards that door. Meanwhile, it looks like Gas Station Gaming is trying to get interested over here with a potential third party as the gas is still down over towards the door. You can see no player outlines really in the vicinity. They've just been hard playing the edge, and why not? I mean, they can just continue to bust out the Black Market Boutique. They can easily skyward dive into the zone with Rambo if they wanted to do that onto Valkyrie. Right. So no reason to, you know, push when you have all of this loot over here. I mean, you're getting crafted materials, you're getting the black market, plus you know that there's a fight taking place, so you might as well just hang out over the area.
Right. Damage comes through, you fly in, quick cleanup, and then start whatever your rotation is towards what will probably be a most likely launch site finish. And then, hey, you've got the KP to boot that continues to keep you competitive here. For CDE, not in the best of situations. This is one of those squads that was pressured and that we have been discussing. You can see just there towards the left where their teammate has found that opposing squad, but it's tough for them now, right? You've got Gas Station, got all eyes, all ears trained towards this area. You're not going to get a quick revive or potentially any recovery.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And the 2-4 on the flat line. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, the 2-4 slaps. Don't get me wrong. On the flat line, you're going to have some serious control with that one. I'd like to see that continue to be used. Wingman, PK, and then you switch it over to Wingman, Mozam. So little interesting combos coming out all over the place. Obviously have that hammer points probably with the gold mag on top of that Wingman is going to be paying some serious dividends over here. And this is what they've been doing. They was just chilling, big chilling on the outside. Very slow-paced game here. Oh, great Wingman shots across the map. And you can see now why Icy picked that weapon up.
Yeah. Able to find not just that, but the crack as well there. Continuing to pressure on that little bit of a high ground. But kind of to go off your point, I really do like the slow reward pace. Maybe it'll accelerate, but that one's a little bit too far away. Still, though, that's a drop on the dome here 20 seconds ago. Who knows what rotations may help. But playing out here towards the edge does garner at least some more control in terms of picking up the KP as a whole. Meanwhile, forgive, no respect. No respect paid towards this Valkyrie ult. They're going to drop Evo, send them hurtling to the ground. You can see very quickly, Convoke eliminated.
Plus the scout coming into play right there with CEC taking down Demonic 10, the last player on that team. You can see Sung's got the charge rifle. He's going to get Air Zeph on Twitch. There's two Zephs. We got Zephyr here, and then Zeph. What do you think about that? Are you okay with that? Are you okay with Air Zeph?
Am I less?
Is he going to try to dunk on you?
Am I more physically Zephyr? Like, what does that mean?
Are you water Zeph? Are you fire
Am I
Zeph?
water
Because he's
Zeph?
Air Zeph. I mean, we gotta figure this out here. What's your bending technique?
Oh. If I was going to be a bender, I'd be one of those really, really cool niche benders. Like the lava or like the metal.
You're a blood bender, aren't you?
No, that's like sick and twisted. That sounds like that's like one of your vices, okay?
First of all, bloodbending's illegal. We don't even go there, but you can see
Exactly.
taking a lot of zone damage over here. Look at Lonely Fans. They have the perfect angle, and they just have two players. Give no respect. Big chillin' on the outside, getting punished big time by the Lonely Fan squad. Can they win another 2v3? We'll have to find out. Good shots there from Base Stala. That should be able to give them the advantage going forward. You can see the black hole is going to be going down. There goes the EVA 8, and that's all she wrote for Lonely Fans. They did pick up some kill points along the way. Nice job from them. But more action now coming through. It was a slow-paced game, and now we're starting to see some amazing, amazing shots. Holy cow, CDE, you're gone. Box of T, you're in there. Another team of two. We mentioned the server issues. Oh, are you kidding me? The tracking from these players is absolutely insane right now.
Making short work with the prowl there. Some of those bursts really do hurt as Optimal Ambition can't find their way out of the little choke they put themselves in. I believe they were the squad that kind of sat in the building originally going toe-to-toe against CDE, so they eventually finished each other off at the end of the day.
Tap strafers underneath the bridge over here. This is a very popular spot when you have absolutely nowhere to go. We'll find out if they're going to be able to fight their way out of here. Gas station, we know that they were on the edge of the tree side. They've now made their way over towards the blue trailer. Air Zeph, he is going to be gone with his boy Zoloist. So Baz is eliminated in 11th place. Pretty solid effort with only 2 players overall. But this is the team that we've been watching the entire time. And why? Because Icy with this wingman has just been ice cold with the shots. Just ripping damage after damage. 1,000 damage with that weapon just alone, too, with half the lobby still alive. Could be looking at a 2, maybe 3k damage game, trying to get the Valkyries as they are redeploying, too. And you can expect them to make some sort of, similar move over here in terms of if this zone pulls away, they may need to redeploy on out of here. But as of now, they are safe in zone number 4. We don't know where zone number 5 is. We'll see if anyone was able to find a scan, but from what you see, not many beacons in this zone over here, if any.
No, I don't think most reads have taken place, if at all, here. But if I had to make an assumption, I don't think we're going to be seeing much of this kind of high ground-esque area from Lava Siphon continue to find its way into play. Sometimes when we see these zone finishes, they tend to kind of run themselves right up against the wall of some of those buildings right there on launch site. So for people like Mutuals Only, who have been on this high ground, punished, constantly berated by bullets, their further rotation is going to be a massive question, as now they send themselves towards Lava Siphon, where, yeah, there's a team been waiting in the building all along.
I like this play from Farrell. He's going to just chuck it right into the door over there, not getting any ticks, but that's going to stop them from at least opening that up and laying down some fire. And perfectly places the barrel, goes on over towards the window, gives a little peekaboo, but he's being predicted pretty hard right now. They have a great idea of where he's going to be. Gold armor is going to prove very useful for this type of skirmish, and I don't know if this is the team that I'd be trying to push right now because you have Void on top of them, but realistically, Zephyr, they don't have many options because of the fact that they forced themselves so late in that zone. The shots with the 30-30, such an underrated weapon, as you can see, just putting some serious immediate damage over there. 1,500 damage almost here for Blitz, and with one of the more priority positions. I mean, yeah, they're not in zone number 5, but having the high ground inside of this building is primo.
Right, you drop down, you play the fence line, then you keep moving yourself forward. It's going to be a little bit more dicey when we talk about getting out of Siphon, but for now, if you could take the 3v3s, clear out your backside, I mean, you have the perfect rotation. Remember, this was the squad, though, that dropped Redeemers early. Now, just barely starting to foot their way in towards that low ground, trying to pressure.
Senpai is down right now. That's not a good sign.
Go.
Borton's going to get involved over here. This is going to be a 3-team skirmish here very shortly because you can see the bubble on the opposite side over towards the door, so the third party is going to be coming in. But Void is looking extremely healthy, plus they know that they have the advantage in this one, and that's going to be back-to-back squad wipes coming through. Like we were talking about, slowly, methodically, just inching your way forward, having to eliminate the teams that they are coexisting with, trying to get on over towards that fence line, which is going to prove a lot of cover for them overall as we see what Most Hated's up to. There's in the zone, you can see in a pretty decent spot as well with the head glitch that they're going to be able to utilize. One of the players that I'm still seeing pop off from the kill feed with that wingman though is Icy.
Right. Still finding a lot of success back there off of gas station early. And now MJ with that singularity, this is going to potentially, put work in with the utilization of that zone there, doing a majority of that damage. So Tap Strafers eliminate from the side, and for a 2-man roster, that's pretty great, but now they have to deal with Cerberus pushing up on this position here.
Nice shots from MJ. The movement is looking really crisp as well. While they're watching their back, you can see Based is continuing to check on over towards the side too, so I really love that they're able to do this with just 2 players. I mean, unfortunately, you can see Streams is out, Void, they are in, and they are on the fence line. In this type of instance, I mean, there's a couple of different options, right? You could just lay low, and you can continue to try to just like force your way and be secretive about it, or you could just try to bully the team directly in front of you, because you know that it's going to be a 2-on-2 situation where you're going to be fighting this team. Well, you have the 3-on-3 situation here, but one team does have 2 players, but basically separate fights are going to be taking place. When you see the way that this is kind of coming down to the wire over here, you have the teams that are playing the ramp with just 2, that's the duo. You have the full squad directly in front of you, that's Icy, who's been popping off with that wingman on gas station. And then you have the squad that is CEC over towards the side, which we didn't get an opportunity to really see much of them overall in this game. So they've been laying low the entire time. Song again on this Caustic has just been dominating.
Good moves.
And I love that play, just tossing that Nox gas grenade inside. They're going to take this fight. They're feeling confident.
But the minute they come out over that wall, you can see Rambo, the majority, already pressured in terms of the damage there. Now, though, from the backside, Borton, a fantastic rip with the Havoc there. Sunwind taking his time as they're going to play right along the edge of this cart, potentially get themselves healed back up. That zone's going to continue to force them forward here as they're going to have to break their way in. And you can see Sunwind already dropped down, but they do eliminate gas station in the meanwhile. And here's that secondary fight you discussed.
Yeah, the secondary fight is going to be taking place. That scout with the 2-4. Very nice there from Slack and Q. I like that with the third party. The defensive bombardment even sexier as he's getting some ticks and the shield crack. They're going to full send on this. Meanwhile, they're getting the res inside of the trailers. So if Cerberus doesn't clean this up fairly quickly, you may have an instant third party coming in from, I believe that is Team Void on the outskirts. Nice shots coming in from Adam. That's the third party, though, that we're looking for. Borton comes in with the Nox, and Void is looking poised to win this game, and they do. Great methodical play to push inside of that blue trailer, playing inside of the building on towards the fence line like you were talking about, and then coming in with the masterful and well-timed third party. Hard fought, well-earned win there from Team Void.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, we should have expected it right off the bat when we saw Redeem drop in the initial trade there outside of Lava Siphon. But if I could pick on one thing, I mean, or not even pick on, this is praise. This is praise here. Fantastic control of the timing, the decision making, and when to pull the trigger there. We got the lovely opportunity to see that Lava Siphon where they went up not just against 1 but 2 squads pressuring them both, and then take that advantage, clear up the backside. And then when they actually took that fight against Gas Station, we talk any seconds later, any second of difference, and that would not have looked any the same.
Very textbook, very methodical, and like you said, very well timed coming in from Void, but they had the shots to back it up too, and with the decision making and great caustic play coming in from Sung. I think we highlighted his caustic before in the pregame before everything went underway in game number 1, but that was game number 1 of 5. When we get back, we're going to take a look at that Mobile One leaderboard, the Mobile One High Performance, and see who is on top. It's most likely going to be Void after their great game 1 victory. We'll be right back.
Take the victory to kick off our finals here in qualifier number 2. Very clean pickup there at the end of that game as they come out of those 4 teams with the victory. Let's check out our first player of the game here for tonight's competition. And I would say not a huge surprise if Void comes out here with a win to kick things off there. Of course, in the top 5 after the first qualifier. They look really solid then, and they're carrying that form here into today. Blitz here with 6 kills and 3 assists. Just about 2,400 damage there on the Gibby, looking really good for the squad in this first game, and that's a really solid performance to start off the day. Of course, quick update for you all. We did have 6 games scheduled for tonight for the finals. Due to some of the server issues we dealt with at the beginning, it has been bumped down to 5. So that is our first of 5 scheduled games here tonight. So we have 4 more coming up. So well done for Blitz, well done from Void, and we'll keep it rolling here with 4 more games to go. We're going to a quick break right now. When we come back, Zephyr and Tom will get you ready for game 2.
Versus coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true side trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Get the bars in the breaks. I'm talking one chance that was so close for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody, to Series E. Great game number 1 coming out from Void. If we have that Mobile 1 leaderboard up, let's take a look at that one and hop right into this, because I'm curious to see how many points that they had. Only 15. Huh. I'm not buying it. I'm pretty sure that math is, not the admin's strong point right now. I'm just saying.
There is literally no way this can be the math. Unless we're
bamboozled.
Unless we're working with some new systems here, this is not ALGS. Like, standard average per game is at least 111.
I'm just trolling like always, admins. I apologize for that horrible joke, but we all know that they probably have the toughest job out of everybody, because tracking 20 teams after every single game within, a scale of 1 minute or 2 is really, really hard to do. Let's take a look at the Mobile 1 high performance moment. We'll get that fixed. We'll get that updated for you guys, and we'll find out exactly how many points they had, because you could already see it's 12 points for a victory, and you could see, 4 kills, 2 kills on these guys. So they're definitely dropping an over 20-point bomb, and that has to feel good, as you can see the methodical play that kind of started the whole thing, right? They were inside of the building. They had to make their way on over towards the fence. Getting this team outside of the blue trailer is really, really important so they can continue to move forward. But it's the res that happens onto Song afterwards, plus the team that goes and takes that fight over towards where CEC was, is a really big deal to buy them time so Void could reset this fight.
Yeah, and this one obviously starts, of course, with Sunwin there. We saw this multiple times, not just in this fight, but a really good use of the Caustic as more of an aggressive zoning tool, which is, I really think, takes Caustic to that next level. It isn't something to just kind of hold and breach and secure a position, right? I mean, it can be your entry point, your entry frag sometimes in there, and that's exactly what we got the opportunity to see with Sunwin there. So fantastic in that regard, and glad to see him back in prime position.
Yeah, Sung is an amazing Caustic. He always has been, and I'm really glad to see him continue to stick through that legend, because it was one of the first Caustics that we had in North America that was consistently playing him in scrims and in tournaments, and you can see why. Again, Caustic, even after the minor changes that happened patch after patch, is still viable, especially on World's Edge with all the buildings that come through into play, with all the experience that these teams have from scrimming on this map and playing it inside of tournaments too. So a very great, again, textbook is the key word there, plays from Void. Everything that they needed to do at the timing that you were talking about, Zephyr, is the reason that they were able to win that game.
Well, as we make our way into game 2, we'll see if they're going to be able to pull this one out again. Now, granted, I think I might have just saw that, but I could be going crazy. I swore Joey was all the way up there by countdown, and the reason I bring this up is because our initial fights here for Void was right up there against Joey and crew from Redeem, so maybe they potentially got a little threatened by the performance here.
Could be. I mean, it's a very strong performance, and there's a interesting thing that happens inside of the qualification process too, where you're very familiar with these players and with these teams, what they're able to do. So when you know that there's going to be some major competition, you're going to try to change things up, because there's only 4 qualification days overall, and again, there's 5 games being played today. So with that being said, we're looking at, 24 games basically. Now with one being shaved off, that's going to be, 23 games that are going to be played. And interesting no-name Geyser Zone. I can't wait to see how this one's going to go. A lot of different options overall, but hopping inside of Geyser would definitely be a strong idea over here. But getting inside of the Beacon building too, if it decides that it's one of pulls to the north side of the mountain, could be another option too. So this is one of those zones that is going to cause a lot of friction from all the teams rotating over from that west side.
I think if I was to place my bets on this one here, I would actually say you ought not to be in Geyser. I think Geyser can be one of the most choke-holding POIs on the entirety of World's Edge. And we get the opportunity to see that a lot of the time when we have Geyser finishes, right? Teams that put themselves in Geyser initially are usually the ones that come out on top due to just how difficult that space is to play. But what is difficult to get into is also difficult to get out of. So when we talk about what might be the pull out there towards the west, kind of into the open area, maybe towards the north with some of those villages, the blue boxes that we've seen sometimes around, right? getting through some of those chokes can be just the roughest thing for a lot of these squads. So I'd actually like to see more preference towards the non-POI areas.
Yeah, I agree. Geyser is a tough situation to go and get out of. But again, Valkyrie with the Skyward Dive can do wonders. And getting inside of Geyser is very difficult if it decides that it is going to pull over there. So a lot of different options, and that's why it makes this zone so exciting, because you don't really know which way it is going to go. And once it does possibly change going into maybe zone number 3, that's when we're going to see some crazy, crazy action that is going to kind of unfold as we see early rotations coming out. Basically from CAA trying to get over towards this choke point, which is very, very popular. We've seen a lot of teams go and hold this one, but there's 2 chokes that happen over here when you're rotating over towards the fragment side. So if you do take a fight, you're going to have to take it fairly quickly. Anyone that comes up that hill is going to be absolutely doomed. Mainly, everyone's going to have to watch their back, right? We know that this is where the rotation is going to be coming from. So if CAA doesn't want to go into one of these buildings, the option is to sit here and try to play from kill points. But when you have gray armor, is that really necessarily the point of trying to have a Loba on your team? I don't believe so. So I think this is the play. Get inside, get safe. You know, if you have gray armor, that you're going to get lit up and other teams may potentially send it on you. So I think CAA is in a very tough situation. And a very interesting situation now that they decided they want a black market boutique in the middle of the map.
Weird.
That is probably the most risky black market I've ever seen.
They know they've got something to work with within those buildings that could potentially put them in a more fighting capacity, but we'll have to see how that one will work for them, as now Gas Station Gaming have very quickly come up from behind. The redeploy landing right on top, and they look far more prepared to take this 3v3.
They really do, and it's going to be a bad situation. It's going to get worse and worse as Butters is going to go down first. Rambo gets the knock with the wingman. Floop goes down next, and that's what happens when you shop outside. Shopping indoors, much better than these outdoor malls, especially when there is a lot of aggression coming from the teams like Gas Station Gaming. I love the play. CAA is going to get eliminated, and rightfully so. I mean, they really had to make their way inside Zephyr if they wanted to go and do that.
I think if you're going to hold a choke, it is something that you try to prop yourself up for mid-game, because going this early and looking as rough as you are, you know, double white, blue, that's nothing to work with, especially with that comp. Meanwhile, Mutuals only, these are one of those squads that are in the buildings here, and you can see Just Feral trying to fight his way in, able to get that Nox Gas grenade in, and now we'll be able to stem forward with the utilization of the bat. I believe this does secure them that second floor there now.
Love this play. I think this is really, really smart. Farrell does need to go and hit the med heals, though. I'm not quite sure if they're going to only have syringes, and if that's going to be the case, that is going to take a very, very long time. But this is one of the priority spots, right, that you were talking about, too, is getting inside kind of in the middle from these areas, plus the amount of endings that happen over here on top of that platform is going to be absolutely key. Now they're going to coexist over here with Blueberry on top of this Caustic, having the Spitfire PK with the purple bolt. You have to be feeling confident right now if you're Blueberry.
Yeah, it works for it's the season of the heavy mag for any guns here, and you can see them really trying to pressure that one out. Walking down with the Caustic, that'll break down some of these gas traps, but Blueberry's more than ready to pull that one back. And this is one of those kind of gentleman's agreements. You sit here and you say, if we're going to take this toe-to-toe at this current point, it's very likely that the both of us fall here. But pressuring for some of those resources definitely seems to be the name of the game here for Mutuals.
And this is all about Blueberry playing on this Caustic. I mean, it's so important. Yes, the bubbles coming down is nice, and I like the play coming in from Grinch to hold that bubble to make sure no one goes in. But as soon as that damage comes down and it gets straight out, I think they're on the same page of what you're talking about, Zephyr, is there has to be a little bit of an agreement here. But at the same time, you know, you got to play aggressive. You can't show signs of weakness, right? You don't want to just sit there and say, okay, we're going to play nice. You want to test the waters, find out if this team is worthy of even having the gentleman's agreement, because why not? If you feel like you can just go and wipe them if they have gray, blue armor and you have full purples, could be an opportunity to just, you know, boom, 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 get it over with, get that extra loot, and then you have that building to yourself.
I have to say, there's one hell of a mental analysis here going into it. No positioning, no loadouts, just can you take it toe-to-toe here? And for Lonely fans, they actually break out towards the outside here, potentially give them better angles. First drop down to Johnny, Sir Lifty to go down as well. This leaves one standing member that is rushed towards the inside, the position that was once held here. Lonely fans very quickly fighting the break that might give them that final drop. They just have to make their way through the gas, seal the deal.
Nice job from Crummy. I mean, you brought it up perfectly. The third party was going to come eventually. It's such a priority building, and back and better, feeling better than ever after that one, taking one of, if not the priority spot on the map. You can see all of the loot at their hands over here, and this is a team that we brought up previously before game number 1. A very new team, but not new names in terms of playing in Series E and the ALGS.
Yeah, Crummy start a fight here. Bit of that experience behind his belt, and now they've got this lovely position and could be potentially picking up some more KP, just sniffing out what lies below. They don't know for a fact that that final remaining member there, I believe Mutuals Only, is on that low ground. But for back and better, they're more than happy to just take this one away and play the building. And they're right there on just that mini map. Hopefully we can pull towards the big screen a little bit. You do see the zone is drifting towards that northern end.
On the edge of the zone over here, Baz trying to stay alive, hitting some heals as we hop on board with Tap Strafers as they're making their way on over towards the blue trailer. Big PK shots, and Baz didn't stand a chance. The way that they were able to take that fight without taking much med damage either means that they could have an opportunity to fend off any third parties that end up coming over towards their way. BP over towards the backhand side of Geyser making the portal play. That's going to be Bursty. Not many wraiths inside of this lobby, so we'll see what Bursty's going to be able to do.
Well, it's the utilization of this portal that may provide that kind of advantage to play off of this legend. You can see him trying to put down the pressure on this doorway, and it's already resulted in this team being pushed back. Granted, I don't think there's much more you can really garner from this, and especially with your portal down, it gets a little bit more risky. Granted, though, I don't think he's in any poor position. I don't think we're going to be seeing him completely collapse upon, especially since he still has Into the Void available.
I just like the aggressive play. I mean, I think this is really, really smart to get in there and try to stick your nose in towards the enemy team and see if you can get any type of information. Again, it's a cat and mouse game, realistically. You have to see what legends they're playing, you know, what type of armors that they have. And it's almost like in an instance you're going to be able to determine what type of skill level the enemy team has too. I think that Apex is just such a great game in that type of facet where you can immediately tell how aggressive, you know, an enemy player is based on their type of skill level. So that's why, when, you know, it's not Fortnite. You can't just turtle inside of a bush and be an amateur player out here. I mean, these are some serious hitters inside of this lobby. Hey, I'm not taking any shots. I mean, we may have some fans over here, but I'm all about the Apex.
I'm a fan.
All right, listen, we know your name's derived from League of Legends, okay? Like
I like to double dip a little bit here and there, okay?
Yeah, I just played the new TFT set. I'm not gonna lie. I've been popping in the PBE, so I can't really hate. So,
coming from the man making cat and mouse references named Tom.
What? Well, you know, it is what it is. The thing is
this your brand?
It really is. Tom the Troll. I mean, there's a lot of nicknames that I go by. All right, we won't even go there because this is a family-friendly show.
Okay. All right. Well, for Redeem, their expertise definitely looking a little bit better this time around. They're holding position. They're not pressured this time. There's no void that has put them to rest as early as round 1. As a result, they hold this building out. And yeah, they're playing off the back end of that Watson, and no one's going to be taking this one away from them for any extended time period here. So they get to hold the edge quite nicely.
5%.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Oh, busting it out. Let's go. I'd love to see it. I mean, what you got for us, Renza? Well, what are you gonna do? All right. Well, we don't even have an opportunity because there's more fighting. We'll find out later because it's all about Caustic, if you haven't noticed. I mean, we saw Sung on Void. He was putting in some serious work. All the Caustics in the lobby right now is just absolutely wild. Still currently in the meta, and also the Havoc with that Turbocharger is putting in some serious work, but it's trades coming in on both sides. We'll see what MJ and his team are going to be able to do. Legolas coming through with the 100 damage. Base Stola is not messing around. Bubble, I don't think, is up currently. Otherwise, he'd be throwing that one on over towards the fence. You can see 3 seconds. That one is going to be up. He's not even going to go for the res. I like the smart play. Wait for that one. Perfectly timed and executed. The res instantly coming through. Armor swaps on the other side of the fence, too. And he's trying to go through the wall right there. All right, I like the thought process.
Didn't quite work, but you got to attempt anything you can get at. Meanwhile, Internerd Gaming, a fight of their own out here in the caves. And I'm sorry, Tom, as cool as Newcastle is, it doesn't look like it'll be this game. Renza and crew from 5% already down. It looks like it'll continue. The third party coming in here from Convoke, but very quickly are they pushed back there. I love the utilization of the ordnance.
Convoke, I believe, went out fairly early in match number 1. We'll see what they're going to be able to do in match number 2. This is an area that has been floating in between the two, and you know, that's why I'm not playing right now and I'm casting. You can see guys are no longer in the zone over here, just a little bit, but it's moving over towards the northern side, which typically it does. I mean, we don't really see many geyser endings anymore, and if the geyser ending does come through, it's typically that one in the very backhand side, and that means the majority of the zone is going to be where the mountain is. So definitely a good call there, Zephyr, as we see the player outlines. There is a fight ready to go down. It's just a matter of time before these caustics start pushing up with their barrels.
Problem is, though, Convoke, they gave them all the time in the world. You have to remember, they've got at least the 3 death boxes to play off of and set themselves back up for when they want to make this take. Granted, zone is closing out here. It is only round 3. It'd be one heck of a rotation if you wanted to find your way towards the outside, but looks like they're just going to have to take it toe-to-toe.
Toe-to-toe, indeed. You can see all 3 players are kind of lining up over here. The perfectly timed barrel, yeah, yeet from C-Fly. He's letting that one rip. He's out of barrels for the next 10 seconds, though, so he's going to shoot that one, trigger that to go and stop players coming in on over towards the door. It would be amazing if they had some sort of grenade right now. I'm shocked that they're not going for that option. Another option would be to let the dome go immediately, and there it is, the dome coming in. Now everyone is so spread out, they just take down Fly immediately. I love this play. No one was in position. Fly is just the only one playing defense right now, and Internerd Gaming is not playing. They are coming for the damage. That's going to be 2 knocks coming through. They're even backing off to heal just in case the third party decides that they want to go and come through there. But Convoke Esports getting just straight slapped in that fight. So unfortunate for Fly again. Had the opportunity to go and toss a couple barrels out, and he did so, but immediately got sent on with the bubble, and that's what we were talking about. I mean, in those type of instances, the Gibraltar on your team is just as important, if not more important, than the caustic. So I love that call from Internerd Gaming.
I have to say, we bring up the word textbook a lot here, but the swing of the bubble is something that, for many times over, will always be an unresolved skill set, right? I mean, it can go either way in a lot of situations there. So the kind of perfect analysis of realizing where there was the major spread of all of those players and very quickly spotting out C-Fly on his own towards left. I mean, the call was perfect. All 3 of them rush out, bubble, defense, collapse. And now they look to potentially do it again as they breach the outside for the very first time here.
Good shots there with the R301. Not easy to hit when you have that head glitch and hits the shots, but somehow can't hit the barrel, especially as a caustic. That's interesting. Fortunately for him, he's not going to be taking any damage overall. Love the 2x on that R301, but going back to that fight, because this one doesn't look like it's going to be happening anytime soon, that bubble was perfectly placed, but not only that, the ability to recognize the positioning disadvantage that the enemy team was setting themselves up for was fantastic. Holy 3-2-1. That was a melt. Absolutely schmelted. Slacking is not slacking on the shots, but hello, your teammate is stuck and he's running directly into you. Cerberus, back-to-back team fights, looking like TSM out here.
Internerd Gaming, that is just insane. How quickly, I mean, they pulled the trigger there. You blinked and would have missed it. The door opens and you're already dropped before you can even react. And now Internerd Gaming, they have the opportunity to play off one of the strongest buildings out here towards the north. Granted, transition's going to be a huge question as the zone continues to close in. Tap Strafers just below them. You can see them right though in the distance. They've made their way up against the wall there.
I love the play to get on the edge as much as possible of that zone, but Internerd Gaming is looking like a force on this map right now. You can see Lion, he gets dropped. They were inside of the building for quite some time. Back and Better is going to be potentially out over here. Senpai is going to answer back onto Bursty, so this fight is a little bit closer than we anticipated, especially after that flush happened. But the way that Internerd has their back fairly safe over here, plus the way that they've been able to just burst damage their way through. Oh, never mind. Their back is not clear. They just got flanked from behind by, I believe that is a duo too. So this could be an opportunity with the bubbles coming down to go and try to win this one. That's going to be Tap Strafers going out. Now it's up to Paxson, who I believe is getting triple teamed over here. That's Internerd going out in 8th place. Back and Better. Tap Strafers as well. We went down to 10-7 really quick, as now Void is looking for the potential back-to-back CDE inside of the zone as well. A lot of squads right there eliminated, as we typically see here in zone number 4.
Yeah, this is a tough area to play. It's one of the more open-ended finishes here, and you can see very quickly how a lot of these squads, especially towards the upper end, control this high ground, who've been holding the chokes for such an extended period, are able to take advantage of that. Redeem here, they were forced to drop, pressured from not only what was the top end, but also their side here. They'll find themselves into the exact same area we just saw in Internerd, but very quickly does Joey fall, and that's your defensive tool.
Z Davis is going to be laying down pylon after pylon over here. The res is going to be coming through, and you're going to need that bubble if Joey Blackout has it perfectly timed and executed. Farmer Lucas, where are you, buddy? Not even time to go and get your boy, because he is so far away from where that bubble is going to be. Joey Blackout's just going to elect to go and heal up. So many different armor swaps over here. It's kind of shocking to go and see him hitting cells and batteries throughout all of that with all these death boxes. And talk about shooting fish in a barrel for Gas Station Gaming. This is a team that has their back clear. They have all of the opportunity in the world to go and just push up as soon as that zone is going to be closing out. A lot of different kills going onto that kill feed, just popping off left and right, as now Jenny Ruby Jane is looking inside of the bubble and looking for some serious damage over towards the side. Great positioning coming in from Unlucky, and great shots and tracking from Jenny, but you can see a lot of players coming around over from that southwest side is going to make this fairly difficult, and now you're in the prime position here for Gas Station Gaming. I love that bubble. As soon as Icy starts taking damage, he's going to drop that, but look who is waiting in the wings. It's going to be Sung on that Caustic, and Team Void is still in this.
Gas Station, though, a big split here. You can see them wanting to play for this low ground, try to capitalize on this squad that was just eliminated, try to come through in third party, play off some of the damage that was sustained. And the shots, though, aren't quite landing. Does take it down to the final member remaining and finishes that one off with the wingman, but very quickly will Void also come through from behind, clean this one up. Oh.
That's all she wrote.
That's all it.
That's all she wrote. Game number 2 is inside of the books right there. Very impressive performance. I mean, that zone was a little unpredictable, let's be honest. I mean, we knew that it was going to go over potentially towards the no-name area, but to kind of have it pull out into that open area, it's all about the Gibraltars. And we saw some amazing plays, especially by, I believe it was Internerd Gaming, who was going squad wipe after squad wipe. I would love to see what happened if they made it over towards that final zone to see what they were going to be able to do. But we have 3 more games remaining here in day number 2 of our qualifiers here in Season 5 for Series E. When we get back, we're going to have that updated Mobile One leaderboard in the high performance moment.
Tyson boneless buffalo bites have that tasty kick of flavor, so they're perfect for any get-together. If there are any left when your guests arrive. Tyson Anytizers Chicken. More kicks of flavor, more smiling snackers, more to love. Tyson.
back-to-back victories for Void here to kick off the finals, and they've taken a huge step towards grabbing that sponsorship and joining Series E for Season 5. Let's check out our second player of the game here for tonight's competition as Void continues to run the table. And it's going to be Jenny Ruby Jane here with the pickup of player of the game here in game number 2. 5 kills and 2 assists and over 1,300 damage in that one. Playing the Watson as well, which is starting to come back to relevance here in North America a little bit. We haven't seen it, of course, we're waiting for that real top level competition to be seen once again when we get to the ALGS Championships. But of course, this is something we saw all across EMEA, and especially coming into the Split 2 playoffs. We saw a lot of those teams bringing it out, and it is seemingly bled over to North America because, of course, Jenny there playing it. We've seen Z Davis playing it a lot for Redeem. So we'll have to see if the Watson continues to rise in prominence in competitive play, but looking pretty good in that game, and Void doing the same. 2 out of 5 games under their belt with a couple of victories, so they're going to be feeling good with a really strong lead. We're going to a break right now. When we come back, we've got game number 3 for you all, so don't go far. Series E returns in just a few.
Versus coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true style trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. With the bars and the breaks, I'm talking one chance that I was so close for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go.
For nothing, baby. Let's get in there.
Now, even the biggest headaches are toast.
Excedrin keeps your head in the game.
For no more throbbing noggins.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
Welcome back, everybody, to Series E. 2 games down, 3 remain, and it has been the Void Show, basically. Back-to-back wins in game number 1 and 2. Sung just playing out of his mind. The rest of the squad is following up big time. Let's take a look at that Mobile 1 leaderboard to find out exactly how much they are dominating. 46 points. Looking so strong there, Zephyr.
I was about to say, this looks more appropriate in comparison to our game 1 and already forming now a 20-point gap. Void could drop one game, and I don't think we'd see hide nor hair in terms of changes. Still some good names, though, to follow suit. Most Hated, Gas Station Gaming, like both of them. We've seen very good plays in their own rights. And for Internerd Gaming, who we touched on for quite a bit of time there in game 2, but it's sad to see them in 6th. But hey, 6th is better than at least 14 other spots.
Exactly, and unfortunately for Bamboozle and CAA, they haven't been able to get a point on the board. Hopefully they could do so with 3 games remaining. Let's take a look at the Mobile 1 high performance moment from game number 2. Probably over towards...
Yes.
Oh, yes. This is such a great play from Internerd Gaming. You think you're safe, but you're not. They don't have any grenades to toss inside of the bubble over here, so while that 88 is looking strong, you can just see the aggression was so good, followed up by the stick past the bubble. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. One of our best Mobile 1 high-performance moments that we're going to ever see. Talk about a 3-2-1. They didn't stand a chance. Unfortunate for CEC right there. Nerdy plays. I mean, they really channeled their inner nerd right there. I can see where they got their squad name from.
I don't know where you're pulling nerd from that. Those are warriors out there. You had to pump damage out to break the barrel and the man behind it there. And then what followed suit was absurd. As y'all can see, though, we're already into the heat of action here for Game 3. Drops have taken place, and heck, even zone is on the map here. Shots apparently beginning to be taken. Yeah, some fights already being had here towards Lava Siphon.
Yeah, this is a pop-off over towards Thermal Station, actually, so you can see...
Sorry, yes. I see lava, I get confused.
It's all the same.
Right.
You know, don't worry about it. I totally get it, all right? You know, the thing is this is one of those spots that if you watch G2, nobody messes with G2 in the pro day over here. So, you know, the fact that fights are going down over here, G2's just sitting there laughing. It's like, yeah, I would love for you guys to come and try to give me some of this free KP. But we're seeing, it's almost like an arenas match over here. We got 3 teams in the vicinity. Frag out on the Bloodhound, trying to find some players over here with the scans coming up in 2 seconds. He's going to be hitting that one most likely right on cue. Be a great time for a scan if you want to go and hit that one, frag out. If you don't use it, you lose it. MJ with the shots and MJ with the finish. And, you know, I'm going to have to say, you want to scan in that situation. If not for yourself, for your boy. And if you want tea and you want some crumpets, you're going to get it.
Easy action there. I'm a little surprised that we don't see any follow through. Maybe our interpretation regarding a third squad was maybe potentially a little bit wrong, but they made it look like the shots were coming from everywhere if we're talking about 2. For back and better, the name may be lowercase, but the action definitely feels like an uppercase. Bit of the wingman there, but can't quite land that final bolt. The spray in the air, the spray and pray. Try to get that job done.
At that point, you're just wasting R9 ammo. I mean, it looks cool. I get it. You have the wishful thinking there, but you're not going to really be able to get the knock with the R99. It would have been amazing, but it just falls off at that type of damage range. And so a weapon that doesn't fall off, that's going to be the Hemlock Car combo coming out with. If you wanted ammo, you're going to get it, all right? Because this guy has 400 heavy ammo. I'm not quite sure how he found that much in such a short amount of time. That could be the most heavy ammo I've ever seen in the first zone, but he's going to make it work.
Okay, we'll see how for long. CAA. It's one of those squads that have been struggling a little bit. No points on the board here going into Game 3. And you can see them trying to maybe foot an advantage in some way, but already flooped there. Taking down Broken Shield. They have to play a little bit more respectful. It's crazy to say that, though. I mean, they've got high ground positioning. They've got angles towards everyone on the southern end. I mean, what's the question?
You don't have to have respect in Apex. I mean, this is the game of disrespect, all right? This is the game of pushing. We already saw the teabags of the bodies, okay? No one's coming. They're fighting for 3 partnered spots, okay? You think that they're going to be cordial? No, this is a bloodbath, all right? Everyone fend for themselves. CAA, they are really interested in getting out of this position. A lot of different zones here. I would love to see what teams are prioritizing, because you have the zones that could go over towards tree where the blue trailer is. You have the zone that could go over towards the fence. Heck, this could pull in a handful of different areas. So we'll see when we get zone number 3 scanned exactly what the teams are prioritizing. But until then, all the teams from that north are going to be making their way south.
Yeah, they've got time to spare, though. We're still sitting in zone 1 when we start talking about this kind of open-ended harvester area. So if they want to play with their food out here towards what is this kind of like god-esque building, when we do see the zone pull out here, CDE can do so here. Place that C with the B. That's how I'll feel appropriately.
And this is a very third-partied area right now, Zephyr. Like, this is right in the middle of the map. I like this play. I think getting out is definitely the vibe right here, because if you're not going to take that fight, you just got to dip on out. And obviously, this team is not interested in moving, right? So you're going to have to go past them. How do you go past them? Take on over towards the sky. The problem is, what real estate do you have available? Are you going to go all the way in over towards tree? Are you going to have to play underneath the bridge? That is a viable position, but you have to have your bubble up, which Carlin does. So this could be a play that you could use temporarily. Long term, is this a vibe? Most likely not. So they'll have to continue to move forward if they want any chance of surviving.
Yeah, just judging from the zone here, it looks like we're getting a hard pull towards tree for what looks to be our finish. And sometimes we get this kind of directly on top of the triangle itself, and sometimes over that little bit of the cave out there towards the west, where you get a split with some teams above, some teams below. For CDE, they're playing right up against the wall. If I was them, I maybe would like to see them kind of extend this even further south. Keep the rotation going. There's a lot better positions, especially if you put yourself up there right on the ridge, just a click away, where you can secure it with the Watson that might provide for the late game. Cerberus, though, right behind them.
This is one of the positions that I talked about over towards the fence side, and having Caustic in this position is definitely a strong spot. But interestingly enough, Cerberus isn't tossing any barrels out. So I would love to go and see some sort of barrel usage going through. I mean, this is a spot that is very easily pushed, and if you have your barrels down, you're going to be able to see once they disappear which way you are going to be pushed from. So maybe when he's done healing, he's going to go for that one. But Internerd Gaming, they are looking for some more blood over here. This is a double bubble and some serious trouble for Demonic Tim and his squad. You can see the PK shots not connecting as they were hoping for, but that is still Convoke Esports going out in 17th place. And you know, Zephyr, we talked about teams that were going to potentially, and players potentially that are going to stand out. And yeah, maybe they're not winning right now. Void's been putting on a show after the first 2 games, but you got to like the confidence that Internerd Gaming is showing. You're seeing a lot of potential from this squad.
Yeah, I don't think we had the opportunity to check them out last qualifier, so I think this is their first, at least, impact here for a lot of these squads. And already right off the bat there in this game, they've dropped Convoke again. This is the second time they've gone toe-to-toe with them. Convoke was the squad that was holding them inside the tunnel, preventing them from what was their rotation out here. And now Internerd Gaming, it looks like there's still more action out there that they could potentially, you know, recuperate and then reapproach.
Maybe with an RE45. No.
Hey, don't knock it, man.
Not my favorite weapon overall. You know, I have a firm belief that if you start talking to somebody and you like, yeah, man, what's like your favorite weapon? And they're like, dude, I love the alternator. I just start laughing. Like so many of my friends that, you know, I play Apex with, and some of my buddies that live in St. Louis, you know, I'm in the Midwest. So I'm like, yeah, guys, like, what's your go-to weapon? They're like, dude, I love the alternator. I'm like, all right, maybe I should reconsider playing with you, because like, dude, it's strong. I'm like, what about the R9? They're like, nah, man, alternator. I'm like, oh gosh, we're done for.
I've had to wean myself off it, but you know,
I had a feeling you were one of those guys.
11,
I had a feeling you were one of those guys. You know, we bring up the RE45, I had to bring up the alternator. I had a feeling you were an alternator fan. That's why I had to bring it up.
When you sit here all day long and you're forced to just look at the numbers and look at the data, I can't put it out there with pride, because no, even an R99, as butchered as it is going into season 13, you know, the car, all those, so much better. But my baby, my alternator, it helped me through tough times, Tom.
It's because you can't shoot, probably. That's
all right.
It's
I'm nice to you. I am nice to you. I don't take the time to flame. I try to make impressions, okay?
It's like, what's your go-to? Alternator Mozam. That's my go-to, and I play Mirage. You know, I was like, all right, we're not getting Predator this season, Zephyr. I'm
one of
sorry.
those things is okay. I'll let you decide which one I think is okay out of the three.
Listen, they're all okay. Whatever you got, you got. All right, you come off drop.
Okay.
It's better than
Okay.
throwing fists. Let's be honest. So we'll see what Redeem's going to be able to do. I mean, slow start for again a team that's been top 3, and Z Davis is one of those players that's been really close in so many different instances, whether it's the ALGS, whether it's Series E, from breaking through. He's always been looking for that team. And, you know, Joey Blackout and Farmer Lucas seem like a good fit. So you almost want to root for this Redeem squad. Heck, you want to root for all these players, but this has been players that have been really putting in work and trying to find their correct squad. Maybe they found it here with this trio.
Now, I will say, this is usually ran with Oxy instead of Farmer, and I know for a fact that Redeem does kind of shift around depending on who's available. So I don't know if it's particularly Farmer that joins alongside them to complete this full 3-man roster, but that's no slouch upon Farmer Lucas. The man's been around for a long time and has provided some impacts when we talk about, even we go as far back to last split. You know what I mean? Not split, last year 2. Back before we had the current iteration of ALGS, back when, was it Farmers only? It's been a while.
And the shots from the Sentinel, not really. Or was that the longbow? Excuse me, that was a longbow. Not connecting across the map right there. But nothing's more annoying than when you're trying to snipe somebody and they're peppering you for 10, 20, 25 across the map over there. It's like, all right, well, I guess I'll stop shooting at this person. But Internerd Gaming, again, very impressive overall. Are they going to risk it for the biscuit and go for the scan onto the next zone? It seems like that is exactly what the plan is going to be. And then you hit that skyward dive. I love getting useful information in this type of instance, especially when you know you're going to be possibly the first team to know where this zone's going to be. So you could have a priority position if you take that opportunity to move immediately.
I'm assuming it is the hard pull towards Tree on this one, but we'll have to see what their rotation kind of gives us in terms of that knowledge. And not too far alongside them, it is Void again, right? I mean, we saw these kind of go back and forth here in the Lava Siphon region, and something that I've kind of begun to, you know, at least slink out from what Void does is they aren't one to go, say, as aggressive as, you know, Internerd Gaming. Get in your face, look for the 3Vs, just try to take every single fight. But it is the decision-making, especially playing out here a little bit slow towards the edge and just taking what fights do come available and not really forcing the issue when necessary here.
And realistically, when you're in this type of situation and you have this type of lead, you can just continue to put yourself in more and more powerful positions by taking your sweet time, right? The teams that are sitting on the lower end in the right-hand side of the Mobile One leaderboard, those are the teams that are going to feel like they have to force something. But this is going to be a hard tree pull directly towards that middle area of the map, and I love to see where these teams are going to be rotating from that east side, because you see the west side doesn't really have much going on, right? There's, what, 2-3 teams? That team's over more towards the north than the west side. You have the 3 players that are in green and the 3 players that are in purple that are going to meet up here very shortly. But all of that action is going to be coming up on over towards the east side as we move into this next zone.
East side, west side. Sounds like something here. I will say, you do have a little bit more of an advantage played out there towards the west in terms of, yes, it's less cluttered, but if we look towards that zone kind of 5, right, you lose a lot of the impression of the buildings that kind of make up the majority of Tree. You lose out on the triangle, you lose out on anything from the south there, and then you only get the kind of extended one that you can barely see on the minimap right now. And I think having a little bit of the kind of, we'll say, angle provided by the slight height out there where the tracks do kind of curve back in could give some teams some better control on how they approach these fights in comparison to a lot of the other squads who might be taking it directly, you know, right in the heat of the action out there, kind of on that lower ground where things kind of turn more into a valley like we know for the zone.
Possible shots getting landed right there. Ooh, Brasco.
Not quite.
I mean, he had the lineup. It was like they were just flying so fast. I mean, do we have a a mile per hour, you know, on what's going on, or, you know, kilometers per hour, depending on where you're from, on how fast you're flying when you're Valkyrie going down? I would love to know. There's little Apex facts that I would love to know.
You got the information there. I'm sure it's set up. There's no way it's not.
Add it to the, you know, if Valkyrie's not strong enough, add it in there. Show me exactly how fast I'm going.
Show me my speed. Well, hey, I mean, in terms of dive potential, I mean, there are certain speeds that do allow you to reach. I mean, yeah, no, I mean, it has its, you know, you can be creative with it. I guess that's the way I'll put it.
Optimal and Vision, not an optimal situation, that's for sure. They're dealing with a black hole plus the caustic gas. You never even know whose caustic gas is whose because it all looks the same. It's all the same color, so you don't know unless you start taking damage exactly what's going to be going on. As you can see, Boxity is going to get the kill. Air Zeph is going to get the kill onto Blueberry, or at least the knock onto Blueberry. Remember, they are holding the high ground of the platform. There goes the Thirst there coming in, but they were the team that were holding that high ground, so it's nice to go and see them continuing to go and put down pressure even from a spot that typically gets looked at from a handful of different areas. But there comes the defensive environment. They're safe inside. There goes the Arc Star as well. Fortunately for them, they got some boxes to loot. Looks like they're running a little low on resources here, so you can see Boxity, he's going to be going popping those alt excels. There's going to be an exchange of meds coming through as well. And even though those boxes are purple, doesn't look like there are many meds left in those as well.
No, and this is a tough spot to be in too. I mean, you're situated right underneath the train line that's still available in terms of a high ground. And while this cart is one of the hardest to push out of all the carts here on World's Edge, it's the further rotation when we start talking about round 6 when it pulls away from this. Yeah, they're still in it for the next zone pull, but for how much longer? Innerd Gaming, tried and true, another 3v3 here. Sir Lifty the first to fall. Yes, Pax will also pay the price as the burn comes out from that gas there. Void, this is the squad right above them.
Void is not messing around. They're looking for the back-to-back-to-back over here. You can see Sung immediately backing down, and that's the sign of a great player, in my opinion. Again, it's all about making sure that you don't take health damage, right? A lot of people can play aggressive, but knowing when to back off is absolutely key. And bring this up so many times. Why do you want to back off? Because look how long the syringe takes, right? It takes 3 or 4 seconds. So if you do take any health damage, not only do you have to pop that battery, but you're virtually outside of the game for 7 to 10 seconds, and that's not what you want. You want to constantly be baiting and switching with your teammates. You want to constantly hold your ground. So great job from Sung backing off over there. And I like this pylon coming in from Z Davis. You can see it's perfectly placed behind this rock. They're also going to avoid, oh my goodness, the sneaky arcology over here.
Meanwhile, Baz, we talked about them on the high ground, continuing to find success on their drop there. CDE quickly eliminated from underneath the building here. They're going to play this one slow and out there towards the rock's edge. Have the utilization of that bolt to just shred through. Might need a switch sometime soon here. Still sitting on what might be the last 2 or 3 clips. Meanwhile, Optimal outside, Cerberus eliminated.
Yeah, you see Cerberus, Lonely Fans was going out. Optimal Ambition now making their play. A lot of teams are going in, making sure that they're getting in a position over here with not much real estate, right? You have the teams that are locked inside of the buildings. They've been there for quite some time, but all these teams on the outside looking in, they're going to have to make their play. And how do you make that play? Exactly what CAA is doing. Buying time with the bubble, making sure that you can continue to get all of this loot over here. Kraber PK in hand. This is a ballsy combo for Floop.
It can get the job done when provided with the angle, but it doesn't look like CAA has set themselves up as of yet. We talked about a little bit of this kind of high ground angle here, and finally, maybe they're looking to pull it off with the back end there. Nades dropped with a single shot of the Kraber. This gives them complete access to run down this fight. Switch to the PK. Ooh, just barely does the bubble push back here. CAA now broken on Floop, added trying to make impacts of their own, but that gas is too much of a zone. Still though, Optimal Ambition collapsed upon and eliminated.
Floop with a, if I don't know what I'm doing type of play, they don't know what I'm doing type of play. It looks like he was interested in front running in there. As you take a look at a quick little Octane skin. Yeah, that's a preview of what's coming on next. We're going to play 1v1 Octane only for the winner of game number 4. That's what the plan is. Redeemed they are looking good. Remember, they were playing on the edge the entire time. They had one player directly behind them. Looks like they're not worried about that one anymore as they see all the action directly in front of them. And I love this play. Get aggressive on over towards the building. You know that's where the action's going to be. Once you need to back off, go for that one. Pylon's going to be popped over here from Z Davis. You can see he's already getting that ultimate excel ready so he can go and use that one. And there it is. Great timing from Z Davis. And they're basically going to get out to play, protect the carrier, protect the pylon over here so they don't need to use their bubble once defensive bombardments come down.
And the crazy thing about this zone is it pulls directly into the middle of these two buildings. Neither has any sort of advantage. So if you've been holding on this entire game from the interior, you're going to be having to make your ways out before you are quickly choked. For CAA, they're still trying to play off of that Kraber, but they don't respect who's inside, though. It's too early.
Farrell with the melt there with the flat line, and Floop just gets flopped on right there, unfortunately for him. Got a little bit overzealous there, Zephyr, as he was trying to just get Kraber after Kraber shot. I mean, that first one was looking sexy. The second one picked up some kills and some damage too. I could see why he wanted to go and fight, but being a little oblivious to the teams inside of the building is one of the reasons why, if not the main reason why, this team is going to be in a tough situation going forward. As you see, Most Hated, a team that is on the left side of the Mobile One leaderboard right now. This is a team that has been popping off and looking pretty solid overall. I've loved to see how MJ's been playing on this horizon. When we're looking at just kind of overall map movement, I really feel like mechanically, MJ is looking like one of our strongest players in terms of his movement.
No, yeah, we talked about a lot of the traits that were extended out of Menjay in some of these fights here. For now, though, many fights to be had still as this zone continues to close in. Void, one of the few that have been forced outside of their building. They're already down to drop Sun Win. A lot of the pressure that they built off of with this Caustic. Now they have to pull this one off as a two-man come through and clean this one up of Borton. Blitz ticking down with the gas. Blitz will fall, and Borton's got to take the time to potentially find that medkit. But this door is closing behind him.
Baz is eating some serious damage with the Arc Star. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to grab the banner instead of armor swapping. Love that one. Always one of my favorite things when you're trying to fight for a position and make it into Series Z over here. Again, 3 teams are going to be getting that partnership to play on the open night and the pro night every single week here, basically, in Season 5. It's going to be so exciting to see what those teams are going to be. Void, they still have an opportunity. No, they don't. Never mind. They just get eliminated in 5th place there. Really nice job getting first, and 5th overall. So now we're going to have an opportunity to see a new winner here. And a new opportunity to see if someone can catch up to this team that has 46 points after 2 games. This phenomenal display of Apex talent coming in from Void. But now it's someone else's time. Let's see if it's going to be BP. It's Bursty with the PK. Nulla is looking pretty strong as well, and it is them. I love the plays with the PK, splitting up and each winning their individual fight to take game number 3. Another team that we highlighted, Zephyr, going forward. That was a team that has Series E experience, trying to make their way into this new season.
Yeah, absolutely there in the end. We talked a little bit about how those buildings can become the chokehold, and as a result, BP set up on the outside. We're able to capitalize on what was an insane finish. Remember, there were no full 3-man squad left alive to fight that one out in those final moments. So BP, even as a 2-man, were quite strong.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They were able to pull that one off. But the big question is how much did they catch up to Void, who still placed 5th overall with some kill points? So we're going to take a quick break. The admins are going to tally up the scores. And when we get back, we'll have that Mobile One leaderboard to find out who is leading here in Day 2 of qualifiers for Season 5 of Series E Apex Legends. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
What's up, guys? Tyler Endress, CEO and founder of Esports Arena. And did you know that Esports Arena is located inside Walmarts all throughout the country? We're here in Tulsa, Oklahoma right now at one of our awesome Walmart stores. Let's go take a look. Fantastic, right? So typically in the front of the store, you see you got a Subway here, you got some Walmart services, but right there is the Tulsa Esports Arena. Right up front. So literally, if you're just doing some grocery shopping, you're gonna check out over here. Simple as that, or you could check out right in here. We've got Calvin, my man Calvin right here. Hey yo, log me in on station number 8.
You got it, Tyler.
All right, I'm getting logged in. We're ready to go play some video games. Look at that. The best video cards in the industry. The best CPUs in the industry. The best gaming chairs in the industry, the best Razer peripherals in the industry, the best monitors that let you hit that 200 frames per second in the industry, no screen tearing whatsoever. All right here at Esports Arena. Now I'd let you keep following me along, but I got a tournament to play tonight, so I'm gonna get some practice in.
There in game number 3 as BP come out on top with a victory here. A huge performance as they try to jump up and contest Void there near the top of the standings. Let's check out our third player of the game here for tonight's competition, and it's going to go to Just Pharaoh with a huge KP performance here. 8 kills on the Caustic and over 2,200 damage. Big game for the Caustic player there, and a big game for BP in the victory. So now things getting interesting. Of course, it is important to remember that the way qualifiers work is teams have to qualify into the finals lobby, and then it is cumulative points over the 4 qualifiers of those final lobby points. So it's not like if you finish in first place, you get a set number of points, or if you finish in first, you automatically qualify. It is the most cumulative points over all 4 finals. So it is important even for a team like Void. Even if you get that big lead early on, you're sitting comfortably in first place, you got to keep grinding because you never know if that may, you may have a rough day. Maybe you don't even make it into the finals later in qualifiers on one of those nights. Every single point matters, so make sure you're grinding out every single game to get all that you can. 3 down, 2 more to go. We're going to break right now. When we come back, we've got game number 4 coming up next.
I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game. Excedrin relieves headaches fast. Excedrin, game over for headaches.
nothing, baby. Let's get in there.
Welcome back to Series E. It's qualification time, and we have 3 games down, 2 remaining here. And it's going to be exciting to see who's going to be able to try to catch up to Void, just like Yeso is saying. They got to keep the pedal to the metal. First, and fifth is what they had. Let's take a look at that Mobile 1 leaderboard to see exactly where everyone is panning out. And there's an opportunity to kind of catch up. If you're sitting in that top 5 area, you can see a lot of teams potentially kind of scraping for those points. Zephyr down below where number 1 and 2 spot are. So realistically, if you're looking for a solid game number 4 and 5, you could get a lot of points on the board.
Yeah, I think what's really a surprise to me is we talk about the top teams coming out of qualifier number 1, Optimal Ambition and Redeem, is sitting kind of meandering around that top 10 here, and Void could potentially take this one away and take a top position after today's games. For now, though, let's take a look at our Mobile 1 high performance moment and see who pulled it off here. Oh, of course, it's BP, their final moments, just choking out everyone on the rotation to the final zones close here.
Really, the MVP is Nola. You got to give credit to Nola tossing down that shotgun ammo, because otherwise Bursty just has 1 shot overall, and that's not going to really do it over towards the tail end of the game. But great presence of mind to kind of split up and do like a rush hour type of move with Chris Sucker and Jackie Chan just kind of rotating around and watching everything around them to secure what was going down over towards this final circle. So great presence on the map with only 2 players. So you love to go and see it. And that's twice now we've seen them really popping off when they've lost their 3rd players, which is a really good sign for their team going forward. And they are sitting in 3rd place again overall. Most hated, they're sitting in 2nd place, and we know Void with their 2 wins as a team to really watch out for. So on board with our winners from game number 3, BP. We'll see what they have in store for us off of the rip over here. Should be a pretty slow start. Not many 50-50s happening. We know that the one was taking place in Thermal Station game number 3. We'll find out if that's going to continue to do so.
Yeah. I will say, for BP and Most Hated, it's got to be a great feeling going into today with such a high presence on the overall leaderboard. Both of them sitting kind of around that 8th to 12th position out of qualifier number 1. Already, though, right off the bat, Convoke, again, to fall as one of our first squads here at the hands of, my apologies, I pretty much missed it. I'll be honest, that's how fast it happened.
It was extremely fast, and when you look at the POIs that are available, you have Epicenter available. Harvester is not being landed at, which is absolutely insane to me. I feel like Harvester is such a great POI.
Versatile.
Even in Series E, especially when we have that CLG fight that's constantly happening over there with, I believe it was Xset.
I'm going to stop you
constantly
now.
happening.
Last time you went off about those 2, we ended up on some message board for a day and a half from what you said.
Yeah, I mean, everyone can't get their panties all up in a bunch, okay? So sometimes we need to have some fun with it. But you know what? I made those teams realize what was going on, okay? They're like, all right, this guy is kind of right, even though he's giving us tough love. You know what they did after that? They made the playoffs, all right? They got top 10. They secured their spot, and they got really good at fighting. Sometimes you just got to Gordon Ramsay your way in there.
You know, all thanks to T-Squared.
I did
factor
that.
in this change.
You
did that.
That's the main reason that they got in the playoffs was because that rant that I went on.
Okay, well, hopefully, you know what? Screw it. If you want to go on for some rants here, hopefully we'll see our next Pro League entity coming out of the Series E qualifiers now, because apparently that's the power that you wield, much like the power of this car on the underside here, chasing out this Bloodhound, just a little too slippery, finally crummy to fall, and they'll go for that full wipe, make sure it's secure there, as Baz now has to look to defend and make short work of it.
Yeah, and that's going to be it. I don't think they realized, I don't know if Boz realized that Dude Wipes is not one of the potential partners on the Series E over here, but they just Dude Wiped that team so instantly, extremely clean, as we know. That's how you go and do that one for Baz, and they're going to be rewarded with some serious loot. I mean, look at the Wingman. That thing is absolutely decked out. a priority position for CDE is not looking like a priority position anymore, as they're trying to hit some scans on over towards the side. Nick Sticks ends up getting dropped immediately. It's coming. Don't worry about it. You know,
all right.
You know, start yelling at them and just get up in there. That's exactly how you do this. They listen. If you didn't know, the casters are actually tapped into the headphones. We're tapped into the headphones live for all of the other teams to go. So once, you know, we tell them to do something, they immediately do it. Like, go and push this guy over here. It's only a 2 versus 3.
You know, it's good to be passionate, all right? It's good to care a little bit, right? And, you know, sometimes, like, you know, we can't help but scream. You know, we want to see certain things take place, and that's what we hope to continue to propose here. For CDE, they're actually able to get the banner back, able to get the full reset off here. So what was a full send didn't really come through. I like the utilization of the bubble there to give the rotation. Yeah, like you said. Chad's moves out here on the board.
That was like a Steve move, honestly. That was not a Chad move. That was definitely, you know, it was a Carlin move. All right.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
What is this Steve move?
Who
is Steve?
Just making stuff up.
I get to call you out. Okay.
We're getting a little delusional over here. I apologize for anyone that's left the stream during this time. Okay, we'll get back on track. I promise. We'll get back.
We
to
love
more
you,
Apex
Jevy.
Legends over here.
He's always here.
Yes, Jevy. Thank you for sticking it out with these two psychos that are, you know. I'm having a good time, honestly. I'm having a pretty darn good time. It's nice to be back casting some Apex over here, especially Series E, and watching these teams fight for their lives. Fight for your lives, guys. There's only 3 spots remaining, and, you know, this is a really... Getting into Series E is awesome because not only, again, do you get that contract, you get partnered up, but you get to constantly play with your team, and you get to get contracted together, and it just gives you that team unity that you really don't have when you have an organization. So that support system is absolutely huge for some of these teams so they can continue to fight things out as that 3-man squad. And we're tossing it back to, I don't know what meta this is, all right? We got Pathfinder for Blueberry, who was playing on Caustic before. Argology's going on over to Wraith. And then Grinch is playing Bloodhound, and we haven't seen really any good Bloodhound plays yet today.
I was about to say, I'd say it's something that's pulling out of Season 1, but we know for a fact that that wasn't the meta out of Season 1 and earlier for some of these compositions. But hey, if you want to get in the face here, maybe that's something that'll work for you. For a lot of these squads, though, things are definitely going to slow down here now. 15 remaining after round 1 close definitely gives a lot of space, and especially since our zone, we haven't really talked about it, pulls out here more directly into this kind of split you get between the no-name village and, my apologies, staging. Right, and that leaves a lot of opportunity for squads to kind of house themselves and sustain for a much longer time. So who knows? I'm willing to bet you we probably only see one other squad fall here in between now and round 3.
Jet maybe considering switching weapons after missing every flatline shot right there. I mean, it's so tough with the 3x at that type of distance. But again, when you're locked inside of a building, having the ability to go and switch weapons right there, maybe you can go and get a 30-30 with that 3x, and that is so much more deadly at that type of range. But the problem is once you go and make that change, if a team wants to go and push your building, yeah, you do have the PK in the back pocket, but at the same time, you want that flatline for the hip fire that it provides because it's just so deadly overall in these small skirmishes. But again, just even peppering fire across the map right there, I'm just obviously joking around, but having that type of presence to even shoot and get that team out of position is what the point of Apex is all about, right? Showing presence inside of your building, bullying teams into different positions, forcing them and pressuring them into an uncomfortable spot, and that's exactly what Jet was doing. So a really nice play. 1, getting inside of that building. 2, placing the Black Market Boutique into the right spot. And now you can see the shots are landing. You triggered me is exactly what is happening. I triggered Jet, and again, this is... You got to give credit to me for the call out, right? Now, say he's missing shot. I'm just kidding.
You deserve some level of punishment. But yes, I enjoy the play back here. Doesn't look like it garners anything further, though. All right, Redeem is allowed to... Wait, no, this is a separate squad. My apologies. Redeem coming through on the choke here to potentially play off some of that damage. But very quickly do they assess the situation and say, we don't want to tango with 2. Too many feet to step on.
Z Davis, let's see what he has with the fences. Nicely done. I love the fence. The bubble is going down. Interesting. The bubble goes down and they still get knocked, so that's a full send because Farmer Lucas wasn't in the vicinity. Z Davis doesn't have his pylon down either, so this could be nice job winning that fight. That's going to be Tap Strafers going down. But while that was happening, I mean, Joey tosses his bubble down. You have Fence Boy Z Davis over here setting himself up, and Farmer Lucas was literally planting seeds in the back of World's Edge. So that was a tough spot for Redeem to be in, and they still walk out on top.
There is something to say about at least the kind of experience you build upon yourself from having the little pro league, you know, kind of, well, I'll just say experience, the little pro league experience that does exist on that roster, right? I think it's one of the oldest and most tenured, especially coming into the qualifier. So, and even in moments like that, where, you know, you put yourself in a poor position, mechanically, I mean, you could just see how they exude swag.
Swag. You know who invented swag? Jay-Z. Anyway,
we could go back a little bit. You know what? I think swag was literally invented by, like, what is that English dude who wrote like 3,000 words?
I'm not quite
Shakespeare.
sure. Shakespeare. Okay. He only wrote 3,000 words. That's interesting.
He invented. My apologies.
He invented everything. He
swag
invented
was
the
one
English
of them.
language. I'm 1,000% sure he wrote the dictionary as well.
There's certain things you say. This is why I always request that we have like a Zephyr face cam on stream, because it's just disappointment.
Full body? Full body cam?
After your performance earlier tonight, it seems like we need to have one, okay?
You never know what's happening over here. But look at what's going on over towards the Fragment side. These guys are dancing off in the Fragment West side, looking like they want to duke it out to see who's going to be the last team to come into the zone over here. But you also have a team on Skyhook. Meanwhile, things are looking so much better for a team like Redeem that is just big chilling over here. As now we see what Void is up to. They're making their way over towards Lava Siphon. They are on the edge right now with one team directly on top of them, another team over towards their east side. And it looks like, you know, Jenny is in the area, but they're still looting over towards Landslide. So they're not interested in third partying this one. And that just is a great sign for Team Void. But Sung going down immediately in this fight, that's not what they were looking for. And now they're just going to leave him for dead and say, I'm sorry, man. We're backing off from this fight, and you are going to be left solo dolo, and that's exactly why Borton is going to be bailing on this one. Too much caustic gas. Sung thought he could go and push through there, but that's why the pressure of playing that type of legend is so difficult, right? You push through, you're not getting slowed by the gas, you're not taking damage. Your teammates try to push through, and they just absolutely can't, because that's how you lock things down. So Void has one player, Void, and they're going to have to do this as a duo, but hey, maybe they can take a page out of the BP book, Zephyr.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of teams forced to play on a limited roster, not just today, but in plenty of places here. So definitely some experience that has been warranted in recent times there. And I got to say, to kind of go off the back end of your point there on that caustic, that building too is one of the more unique ones you find on World.
So difficult.
Yeah, it's long, it's extended. There's no cover on the interior. I mean, it is literally just an open box, which is completely different when we talk about a lot of the other, you know, copy and paste designs that do exist here in terms of structure. So very quickly were they punished.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to run into barrels on each side of the door. You're probably going to have, you know, at least 4 to 6 barrels inside of that vicinity, because where else are you going to put them? If you put them on the outside, they're going to end up getting shot. So it's virtually impossible to push that if you're not playing on caustic. So it all happens so fast, right? For Sung, he thinks he's feeling really confident. He is feeling really confident. Heck, they won 2 of the first 3 games and got 5th place. And so 3 top 5s overall, so might as well go and get aggressive. Floop, the Kraber King from the previous game, ends up getting shot down from Tsunami. Nice little snap right there from Senpai, tosses the bubble down. Could be an opportunity while this is going down to toss a defensive environment, right? You know that this vicinity is going to be hot. They have the gold bag. Rez, he's not fully in the bubble. Brother, you got to get inside. You got to, if you're going to have cover for your brothers, you can't be half outside of the covers. It's like my feet when I'm trying to sleep and I get cold.
Very quickly there, a simple mistake now punished for Lonely fans as they work their way inside. And unlucky, what looked to be the most perfect of parties on the inside of this cart here is now eliminated. Damn.
Tough break. I mean, there's just minor mistakes right there, right? I feel like that's definitely a defensive bombardment inside of the bubble toss. Plus, while that's happening, you wait for him to crawl all the way inside of the bubble. But at the same time, you know, you got to crawl faster, dude. Like, literally, press forward harder. Press W harder. If you're using the sticks, push that stick forward. Didn't your parents teach you anything how to crawl?
Mr. Papa T Squared back at it once again with the words of advice here. Push faster, move a little bit quicker there. And, you know, in moments like that, I suppose it's warranted here for CDE. Oh, I guess the word of advice is move a little bit quicker too. Brought down from the utilization of their redeploy. Now going to be having to fight amongst the fray here onto this kind of lower end. I don't even think they get a choice. They can't even provide shots back. They're getting shot from across the valley.
Yeah, but they did a good job even getting to this point because remember, they were kind of stuck over towards that lava fissure side, right, when they were trying to make that long rotation. And I believe they were down a player too, so they got their teammate back into this one. Now it's up to Carlon on that Gibby to try to pull something off as just a solo, and he's going to be ratting it out. But the way that he's positioned, plus everybody having an idea of where he's going to be, I'm not quite sure if that's going to be an option for him. Maybe he can get these placement points, inside of the top 10, and that's going to be pretty solid. But Internerd Gaming, this is a team we've been highlighting a handful of times, and there's a reason why. They have been playing so aggressive. It's been so fun to watch them. Let's see what they have in store for us here in game number 4 as they pick up Nick Sticks.
Yeah, now they're going to potentially extend themselves out here towards east, maybe capitalize on some of these teams. But they got to be careful. This is one of the harder areas to play, especially when we talk about zones that finish in this kind of no-name geyser village. And sometimes, yes, it does pull up here by this kind of plateaued area. But this time around, we are getting the village finish, right, with all the buildings in play. And the big rotation that comes through when you are finally forced to drop from that kind of source of cover on that plateau into the valley and then climb. I mean, that is the challenge that awaits Internerd Gaming that, honestly, I can't wait to see. I mean, it's tests like that that prove you should be an esports arena.
It's really weird having 3 no-name areas. Like, how can every single area that doesn't have a name be called no-name? And we've never really figured out a name. I mean,
this
is
has
kind
a name, by the way.
This is on the west side. Can't we just call this Westworld?
No, it has a name. Hold on. It literally has a name.
This is staging, yeah. But when we're talking about the hot springs, are you talking about the hot springs down below?
Yeah, no, this has to have a name.
I don't know.
It's like one of those, it's one of those minor names that pops up when you walk through the area.
I'm calling it Westworld. Hey, you played Fortnite. You know where Tfue lands. We'll call it Westworld.
We'll call it Westward. Okay, all right.
Hey, you signed up for this, all right?
Well, speaking of signing up for Redeem, aren't signing up for this fight. They pull back. They're not in the ways of aggression here. And once again, going to be continuing to play right against the edge of Westworld out here towards the side. And Gas Station Gaming instead are going to be the ones that pull up to this card that look to potentially third party what was the damage that was put down here. They can't quite find the heads, though.
Yeah, it's difficult because you're trying to stay alive and use this head glitch, but at the same time, if you take some damage, that team is going to full send on you because you're so far away. Wow, Optimal Ambition just getting clapped almost immediately. Jet, I love this aggression. I mean, because he's still within bracelet distance of his teammates, so he is basically entry fragging like a Wraith right now and just using that head glitch over and over again. But because of the fact that they're owning so much real estate, they can back off on over towards their teammates and kind of slow play this one. I mean, you still have 10 squads going into zone number 5. That's half of the lobby still. Very methodical game being played by a lot of our teams. I mean, when we looked at the games before this, they were very fast paced. So it's really interesting to see things kind of slow down a little bit as you see CDE getting eliminated in 10th place. And now back on board with Lonely Fans. I have been very impressed with Arcology's tracking. I think that right now, in terms of looking at the way that he's shooting, a very viable Wraith player, very viable entry fragger. So I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do going forward. Would love if Blueberry would heal, though. I mean, it's about time to go and pop him. There it is.
He's healing.
He's going to go and pop that med kit. see fences down there. That's not Z Davis. You know that they're over on the high ground over towards the choke. We have a handful of different wraiths that are going to be in on this one. But now the kill feed is starting to light up. A fight is taking place. That's going to be Baz trying to stay alive, and they're not able to. Mutuals only. A lot of onlys in here. You got lonely fans, mutuals only. I think you said something about farmers only earlier. A lot of single gamers out here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's self-explanatory, I suppose.
What, gamers and being single? What are you trying to say?
Yeah. Maybe it's just I'm just kind of embellishing.
Are you projecting? Are you self-projecting right now?
I was gonna say, what's the word? Projecting. Maybe I'm just particularly projecting here. For lonely fans, they defend their area that they've at least held onto for an extended period. It's a good one. Right, and when we talk about high ground control, round 6, and now putting down the portal to potentially extend some shots to those who hoist themselves below. Granted, you can see out there in the distance, you got a plethora of squads who are starting to come through. Redeploys are in the area. Defense might be getting a little bit harder here.
Telling you, Arcology has the shots. All right, guys, we're going over here. Like, his teammates bailed on him so hard, and then all of a sudden they just caught him. That was really funny. I loved seeing that right there. Glad we caught that one on our servers.
We figured out who the IGL is.
Yeah, right? We're going over here, all right? It doesn't matter if we're all going to die. Everybody follow me. But he must have had some info that we didn't have or his teammates didn't have because of the fact that they're still alive. So now sitting on top of the banners, we've seen this spot locked down before, but Lonely Fans is doing it with the Season 0 composition. I really don't know what season this is that they decided that they want to pull out. I think they just went for some, legend roulette over here, and woof, Grinch laying down the shots. One of the things is I don't think Grinch has hit a scan this entire game.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he can hit shots though. All right, if you've been paying attention, or at least I got the opportunity to cast over this guy back like a week ago in Northern Series. Dude was dropping it with the 30-30 repeater consistently. So while the scans might not be plentiful, at least the bullets do hit. All right.
He's not scanning because he doesn't need them, and if he scans, they're gonna know where he is, and he already knows where everybody is. He's literally using Bloodhound just so he could have the passive and looking at the footprints because he likes being a Boy Scout. That's exactly what he enjoys doing. So I like the positioning from Lonely Fans. I mean, when we look at the way that they are having the high ground and they have all of their disposal in terms of ammo with that black market, plus the zip line that's going on over towards the high ground, you have to think that this is the team to look out for overall. Redeem sitting on the slow ground, they've already been melted from behind. You know that they're concerned about the teams in front of them. No one's really watching over towards the high ground behind their shoulder on the north side either. So this is a great opportunity to go and pull that W out. But Gas Station Gaming has looked phenomenal so far today. You can see they are landing some shots down. Blueberry still highlighting himself in the kill feed. No bubble coming down for Icy. So that's a little bit late, but that is still going to work as they have the gold bag. And now with Blueberry being eliminated, is Lonely Fans going to be able to take this down with just a duo? BP won the previous game with just a duo, and you can see one player is going to be knocked on the team over towards the side. This is looking really good for Lonely Fans, but what do you do here? Do you lay a portal down very last second? That could be an opportunity for Arcology to win this one on this Wraith. Again, we have the scans coming in from Grinch. You have the utility from Arcology if he wants to go and use this one. When we're talking about textbook Apex, what is the play going to be here? That's going to be the portal play. I love this from Arcology. He's going to go for the kidnap.
Oh, he's just going to try to get some source of cover out here, but look for that kidnap on the back end. Just barely do they put themselves right on the ridge. Redeem here now taking it toe-to-toe against this 3v3 that was hinted beneath themselves from Inner Gaming. They're looking fairly healthy. Even Jolie Blackout with the health there is going to be coming on top. And now Redeem with the high ground to themselves, coming off of the bridge here, are able to clean up a Rambo. And now potentially Arcology one shot away, coming out there with the Wraith instantly. One tap dead.
And you really think that if they had Blueberry that they could have been able to pull that one off, but instead it was Redeem. Methodical has been the key term today. Again, they almost got melted from them from behind, and then they just focused in front of them. That bubble over towards the tail end of the game to buy them enough time to kind of see what exactly is transpiring and seeing that the fighting was taking place on the ground level was exactly what they needed. So you got to give them credit when credit was due. It's all about timing and it's all about methodical play, especially towards the end game in that final circle right there. So that's game 4 of 5. It's flying by tonight, especially with that little delay that we had. All of a sudden, boom, we're getting into these games and no server issues, knock on wood, throughout all of these games. It's been exciting to watch. This is Series E Season 5, Day 2 of 4 qualifiers. We're moving into Game 6, and we'll have that Mobile 1 leaderboard on the opposite side of this break.
Four down, one more to go here in the finals here for our second qualifier for Series E Apex Legends Season 5. And Redeem coming out with the win here in game number 4. A lot of name recognition on this roster. A bunch of former Series E players here. Z Davis, Joey Blackout, former Lucas, all great pros. And they're looking to come back here into Series E and try and dominate. They did certainly in game number 4 here and cleaned it up in the end. Let's see who our player of the game here is for game number 4. And it's actually going to go to Arcology, not one of the players here on the side of Redeem. Actually going to go to Arcology here. 6 kills and 2 assists. Almost 2,100 damage there on the Wraith. Really, really good performance there. Morbing it up on the Wraith. You are welcome, Connie. And that's 4 games down. We're going to go to a break right now. One more to go here tonight. We'll see if anybody can catch up to Void at the top of those standings. We'll find out more when we come back.
Tyson boneless buffalo bites have that tasty kick of flavor, so they're perfect for any get-together. If there are any left when your guests arrive. Tyson Anytizers Chicken. More kicks of flavor, more smiling snackers, more to love. Tyson.
Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true side trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Put the bars in the breaks. I'm talking one chance that was so good for the go. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
For nothing, baby. Let's get in there.
Pausing for dramatic effect. I got you all. Welcome back to Series E. T-Squared and Zephyr bringing you the action. We're down to our final game. We have 4 games down. 1 game is remaining, and I know Zephyr is tired of my shenanigans. So let's take a look at the Mobile 1 leaderboard to see exactly where everybody stands. It's Void still in first place. Most Hated still in second, but it's Redeem now clawing up that leaderboard. Again, they were in top 3 overall in this qualification process. Only 3 teams are making it to get partnered going into Season 5 of Series Z. We'll find out if they can continue the momentum that they picked up in game number 4 to take a look at that Mobile 1 high performance moment from the previous match.
Yeah, I will say big moments like that and wins like this are going to hopefully put them into the top 3. We tune in with Baz, one of the teams we haven't had the opportunity to discuss too much as they haven't been able to transition early successes like this towards the end game, but made short work of this squad. You can watch here in just a moment how they all run down the ramp and get run down out of the game.
Yeah, that was a very, very nice execution of this team fight. Definitely worthy of the Mobile 1 high performance moment. And again, that 93 burst from Zoloist is just so disgusting. Car wingman combo, so deadly in zone number 1 too early into this game. Great execution, great job of getting that armor swap going forward and laying down the law on one of our strongest teams inside of this lobby. And realistically, I thought that when we looked at who's inside back and better in this lobby, those are players that have had really strong performances in the past, right? We know what Crummy was able to do on Team Rockstar. We know Lion was formerly of Team Noble, who eventually Lion was teammates with Amu and the team that and eventually came into 100 Thieves. So he's had a very, very interesting road overall, and definitely one of my favorite players to watch and play with. But now we hop into this final game to see who is going to be able to keep pace with Team Void. Internet Gaming, one of our favorite teams that we've seen today, continues to add the pressure on, and Unlucky goes out in 18th place.
Right off the bat there, Unlucky removed. Convo to follow, not too short behind there. I would say I'm surprised, but I guess 4 games is a charm. I don't know. Either way, Convo going to have to go back to the drawing board if they want to reapproach Series E, which I believe is tomorrow.
Yeah, we are going back to back days of Series E. So if you like Apex Legends, make sure that you are back here at the same exact time, because we are going to be going through some serious matches. And this is the opportunity to go and have crunch time for these players, as Give No Respect is not going to be able to get any respect in this lobby. They are being sent back to matchmaking, basically, as their night is going to be over. BP now, winners of game number 3, looking like they are in a prime position to continue that momentum with Bursty on this Wraith. And it's just so awesome to, again, see the variety of compositions that we have going forward. Again, we have Lobas in here, we have Watson, we saw some Pathfinder, we have Wraith. The only legend that is fairly viable, I mean, we've seen Horizon as well. We haven't really seen any Ashe. And I know Ashe kind of falls more into the Stormpoint category, but you would think that, you know, Ashe could have been in at least one of these team compositions, especially when you're seeing, again, Bloodhounds, all these different type of legends going forward. But it's also a comfortability thing. I mean, think about the amount of times that you've played Wraith on World's Edge, and you just kind of know that muscle memory. And at this type of level, muscle memory and, you know, reacting basically immediately is what you need to do. And that's why these players are just so darn deadly, as we see what Mutuals Only is doing, locking down over towards the tree side. I would love to see where this zone is going to go, if we could get an opportunity. I don't know if I missed it, but
I think you're blind.
Scan number 2. Yeah, seeing hey, I definitely am blind and delirious. I'm not quite sure if you saw my picture that I posted on Twitter. I barely have both of my eyes open.
That's fair, and I'll let you know that, yes, Zone 2 does collapse. We're going hard thermal station here. Not quite as down deep as the village, but definitely into the area. But before we get there, CAA continuing to defend. BP, they extend themselves past where they just were outside Fragment here and look to clean up the final member of this roster. And very quickly, does Drast just finally say, screw it, pulls the trigger, runs through the thermite, finishes the job there. So BP now, I believe, 2 squads on their belt as they make their way into the final game of the night.
Nice job from BP. I mean, the nades were nice, buying time, hoping that, you know, another team would come in third party from behind. But it was just a matter of execution and just taking your sweet time to go and make that play that you needed to go and do. And that's exactly what BP was thinking. Is now they're thinking about their next rotation. And when you have double rotation legends, this is a good opportunity to just continue to play aggressive and try to find out exactly what you can get on the edge of the zone before you make your way over towards thermal station, because we know thermal station zones are absolutely brutal. But typically in these final games in Series E, you see the pace pick up, and the reason that happens is because everybody understands mathematically what they need to go and do. So it's almost like an all or nothing mentality. You got to risk it for the biscuit type of thing, risk versus reward. And a lot of times you will see maybe, you know, 10 teams eliminated, half the teams after zone number 2. But once that happens, once you get into that top 10 area, it's just like the new ranking system. Everyone gets and starts playing super tight. They want those placement points, and then it'll get elongated into that final circle.
Damn, I'll say, from a drunk to a coach to a mathematician, you pull out all the roles here on Esports Arena, Mr. Tom. And for many of these teams, they could learn something, potentially a thing or two, especially Tap Strafers, taking their time out here all the way by Dome. Obviously, they want to pick up this 3v3. We talk a lot about the points that you know you kind of have to accumulate here. And that's why we see them extend themselves into a position that will most likely lose them maybe some control when we start talking about at least the lava. My apologies, the thermal station area here. For Tap Strafers, though, haven't quite found the cracks necessary to kind of send this one full throttle.
Yeah, sitting in the back of the dome with the charge rifle. I don't know if it gets any more toxic than this for real, as he's just trying to get that Evo shield charged up. 14 away. I'm sure he's going to be able to get this one here fairly shortly. Who charges, or who challenges the charge rifle? Excuse me. That's one player that's feeling really confident, maybe in their wingman or something along those lines. But right now, it's real just continuing to maybe even get this to purple and then toss it to you, triggered me, and say, hey, switch armors with me. I'm feeling it. I can definitely get this one going. The zone is closing. It's still zone number 1. That is a viable fight to take. I mean, this is a little bit of a, aggressive passive play. I mean, we talk about passive aggressive, yeah, but this isn't really passive aggressive. This is kind of aggressive into passive. So I don't know what the plan is. You don't want to go up over towards the zip line. Taking that rope is a death sentence. So they're going to continue to foot it. And we asked for Ash, and we got Ash. We also got Bangalore here for 5%, which we saw someone in the chat. Hey, Mex, 5% fans? I'm a 5% fan now because they are busting out unorthodox compositions.
It's a bit of a shame that we just haven't had the opportunity to see them last long enough for them to hold much relevance. I mean, I really wanted to get your... Hey, whoa, come on. I mean, it's the truth. Anyways, I had to say, though, it's a bit of a shame because things like the Newcastle have been starting to peak out here, and they were the ones to kind of make their way forward with it. For now, though, CDE, pressure in their own right, pressed against Inner Nerd Gaming, right? And they've already dropped one member, and they're continuing to tick out of zone as they continue to kind of gatekeep them here on the inside. I don't know how much longer they can particularly last. Nick Sticks, Carlon, they're going to take some time to go for the full heals that will allow them to potentially reposition, but might be losing out on a team member.
I like this play. Defensive environment at the perfect time. The placement was on point as well. I mean, you do have a little bit of the building eating the defensive environment, but at the same time, I feel like if you're going to toss that, that's a great opportunity to move forward, grab that banner, and then run away, right? Nick Six needs to be the guy to go and do that one as the defensive environment's happening, but instead, Carlon is going to be the one that makes the move because he does have his bubble up. So while that's happening, Nick is going to take on over towards the high ground to lay the cover fire, and now they're going to dip out. So great communication, great utilization of the legends that they had, and now trying to find their way back on over towards the edge of the circle, maybe into a skyward dive. Maybe they're going to foot it back on over towards the zone. But the big goal, getting RFE back into this game so they can have their Caustic and their full man squad.
I think that's exactly what they're doing here, trying to pull this one away, maybe look for the revive. But Inner Nerd Gaming, they know they've got time. They know they've had a great night here, and potentially risking it for the potential for more KP is definitely something that they want to set their sights on. And, Dome's going to give away the notion, set themselves up with a little bit more food to sustain regarding potentially the syringes. We know those were nerfed going into Season 13. You don't have as many kind of heal items to work with as they've spawned less and less. So for Inner Nerd Gaming, they actually pull away.
And that doesn't make Lifeline any stronger, unfortunately. So
not a chance.
Still looking for the opportunity to buff the homegirl Lifeline, the original most fun legend to play, in my opinion. Just remember when the fast heals would come through, how awesome that was. Speaking of awesome, look at the disgusting Arc Star. Renza not standing a chance. BP with the rotation coming through. It was fairly late. Maybe no one was expecting them coming over towards this lava siphon side, but now everyone should have an idea that they are in the area. And a little too aggressive for Smackwoods. This is going to be 5% potentially going down. You can see Ash now. The pings are going down on over towards where that player is going to be located. Only a matter of time before Bursty goes and gets that one, but instead, it's real with that charge rifle stealing the kill across the map. Phoenix Kit being tossed on over towards Bursty. Hello, Bursty. What? That's not a great spot to stand still, right in the open.
He's got time. It's, it's round 2.
He's toying with him.
He's toying with him. You have a lot of mental math going on behind the scenes here. I feel like your days is a
know you guys missed us and this gameplay. We're bringing it back with 12 squads remaining to find out who is going to walk away with game number 5 in Season 5 here of Series E Apex Legends. This is the qualification process, day 2 of 4, and if you are enjoying this action, make sure that you tune in with us tomorrow and the following day so you can see exactly who is stamping their ticket to be those 3 teams that get partnered and get the Esports Arena contracts to continue to chase and find out their Apex Legends career and dream. Now Tap Strafers holding the high ground over towards the tree side, a very deadly spot that we see a lot of teams go and hold. Are they going to try to single one player out? No, these players are very tricksy, trying to just find out which exactly they want to go and focus on. Now, Zephyr, what do you think about that? I mean, he had an opportunity to just let that rip. Instead, he doesn't really get any damage or any type of...
Or anything. No, but unable to find that. What's more surprising to me is we just saw Void. Void drops in the kill feed there, 12th place. That is your current leaders, and this gives anyone else an ample opportunity to potentially take that one away, and a good night like this would secure them for the future. And it continues. Optimal Ambition, currently sitting #1 on our overall leaderboard for qualifiers. Also taken down here, 2 of the biggest names going into our final lobby.
Lonely fans as well, so an absolute bloodbath since we got back. 4 teams eliminated in just a small amount of time. The healing coming through for Air Zephyr, and they are taking to the air over here. Fortunately for them, nobody really in the vicinity to dissipate their shields. Instead, everyone focusing on Zoloist as the pings are going to be going down potentially on top of that platform, and that's exactly what the mindset's going to be. Where the zone is potentially ending too, that's a good spot, but all eyes are going to be on top of them as you see Z Davis and the Redeem squad. They're looking strong inside of the building over here. You can see purple armors, heals going down. Pylon is there if they want to go and use that as the passive heal as well. But it's aggression time. They already have knocks around the corner and they're looking for more.
Right, Redeem recently picking up their big win from under the bridge here, now looking to kind of continue with that advantage. The pacing that they've found here for Redeem, this is really important. They've had a rough day thus far, and yes, while they sit kind of currently tied in that #1 position, they need to continue to ramp in points, and we're talking about the next 2 days that will also be available here for them. Thankfully, the zone happens to play perfectly. They're going to be right on top of that final 6th area.
Classic thermal station zone over here towards the platform where the train tracks are, and a lot of different head glitches that you can utilize here, but this is going to collapse from all different areas. All of these teams are basically owning their respective real estate, trying to make their way on over towards the platform. Bursty with the burst damage with the car immediately when he goes and hits that portal. All eyes are going to be on the portal, though, you can see on the edge of the zone. So there's at least 2 or 3 teams that are going to be focusing that spot.
4, 5. Sorry, 6. Looking for shots here out towards the edge. BP, I mean, this is a great angle to perform with for the time being, especially when we talk about 30 seconds from now. I mean, it is free reign. I mean, it is like, I don't know, shooting fish in a barrel. There you go. That's a very common analogy that works for this situation. For now, though, BP continuing to put damage down where it counts. Notice that they actually have quite the separation with Bursty again, utilizing the Wraith to play off that portal to potentially give them some more angles to work with.
This is the team that you have to watch out for. Most Hated sitting in 2nd place, but they are running directly on over towards where I believe Redeem is going to be. You can see the heals are going to come through. Great bubble overall. That should buy them more than enough time to go for something, but MJ is going to go crazy. He's going to take on over towards the air. The shots aren't hitting, but that hits for 100. Is that going to be enough for them to go and win this team fight? You can see 3 players are going to be located over towards the below of the bubble. Most Hated now going for the armor swap, and that's exactly what Mars is going to be doing. It's going to be a 2-on-1 situation here once
Joey down.
Stala goes down, but no, Stala is just owning. He gets 2 knocks, and now it's up to Mar. They go from basically being taken out on the flight path to now owning Redeemed and potentially winning this game. You have 4 kills on Mar. Where are the rest of the players in terms of the kills? That is a huge, huge team fight for Most Hated.
No, that is absolutely massive there. We know they were competing, you know, sitting in that kind of top 4 or 5 position
Second place.
And now,
they're second
big
place.
win. Second place, my apologies. They could be on their way to finding the win and then taking themselves from what was 8th overall here now to the very, very top. For Gas Station Gaming, they're still running this kind of two-man frenzy for themselves as they try to push their way into the window, but you can see angles from the outside. The other side of the platform is still well within play.
Not sure what Icy's looking at, but he's enjoying the scenery of the ground. Maybe if they looks at the ground and he's not looking at anybody, no one else can see him. He's trying to keep his head low as possible. And he's also popping some ultimate cells. I mean, he's going to need 2 of them if that's going to be the case. And you can see some foot shots happening around the corner. Rambo needs a bubble. Icy is not helping his boy right there. He's like, you know what? I got the Kraber. You help yourself, man. I got Kraber Mozambique. This is the most sought-after combo in all of Apex.
It could be sought after, but it's going to be in the death box that you'll be finding it here for BP. Now they try to defend right against the Ridge. Drast, the last one standing. We've seen a lot of damage sustained here from Drast through the majority or the last remnants of this game, but sadly will lose out on his teammates and very shortly will be forced to make his way out from the little bit of cover on top of that building. For Internerd Gaming, I didn't realize this angle was giving them so much access here. They're going to have to drop eventually, but they'll get to play right up along the edge here. Train line some of those fences.
It would be fairly fitting for Internerd Gaming to take a game based on the way that they've performed today. I mean,
yeah,
great aggression coming out, and now that they've kind of honed back the aggression a little bit and started playing the zone, they know that they have the team fighting ability. It's just a matter of how can they go and utilize this. How did Most Hated get everybody back up in this type of instance? The black hole gets absolutely demolished, but look at MJ with the shots. Base Stola with the Mastiff coming through, put in some serious work. Now it's going to be MJ with the PK. If they could win this game, plus the kill points that they have, we could be seeing Void not taking first place overall. I mean, one last member on the team. Are they going to go for the kill points on the ground? That's going to be the high ground being taken by MJ, and that's all she wrote. Most Hated is the champion. I'm so glad I don't have the admin's job right now. This is going to be very close to call. We saw Void start off the day with back-to-back wins, but it's all about Most Hated sticking around until the very end right there and taking the final game. The big question is that enough to surpass first place? We're going to take a quick break. The admins are going to do the very tough job of adding up all of those kills and placement points, and then when we get back, we're going to crown our winner here of Day 2 of qualifiers here in Season 5 of Series E Apex Legends. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, y'all.
What's up, guys? Tyler Endress, CEO and founder of Esports Arena. And did you know that Esports Arena is located inside Walmarts all throughout the country? We're here in Tulsa, Oklahoma right now at one of our awesome Walmart stores. Let's go take a look. Fantastic, right? So typically in the front of the store, you see you got a Subway here, you got some Walmart services, but right there is the Tulsa Esports Arena. Right up front. So literally, if you're just doing some grocery shopping, you're gonna check out over here. Simple as that. Or you could check out right in here. We've got Calvin, my man Calvin right here. Hey, yo, log me in on station number 8.
You got it, Tyler.
All right, I'm getting logged in. We're gonna go play some video games. Look at that. The best video cards in the industry. The best CPUs in the industry. The best gaming chairs in the industry. The best Razer peripherals in the industry, the best monitors that let you hit that 200 frames per second in the industry, no screen tearing whatsoever. All right here at Esports Arena. Now I'd let you keep following me along, but I got a tournament to play tonight, so I'm gonna get some practice in.
Most Hated clean it up at the end there and grab the final game of the night with a nice victory. So that cleans up all 5 games here of the finals, and we are now halfway through our qualifiers. Let's take a look, at our final play of the game here for tonight's competition. It has been a very interesting run so far, and it's going to be MJ coming out on top in this final game. 5 kills and 3 assists there on the horizon, so well played there from MJ, even just about 1,300 damage in that one. So Most Hated finishing on a high note. Void dominated early on, weren't as big of a threat in those final 3 games, but they still put up a lot of good points. So it'll be very interesting to see how things shook out on that Mobile 1 leaderboard to close out the night. We're going to go to a quick break right now. When we come back, though, Tom and Zephyr will take a final look at that Mobile 1 leaderboard and our final Mobile 1 high performance moment. Then I'll be back to close the show, so don't go far. We'll be back in a few.
Welcome back, everybody, to Series Z. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the matches. All 5 of them were an absolute blast, but let's find out who is taking the crown and the cash when it's all said and done by pulling up that Mobile 1 leaderboard. It should be fairly close. We know that Void and Most Wanted were those 2 teams that were kind of duking it out. And then, or Most Hated, excuse me. Most Hated takes the dub. I mean, Void wins 2 games in a row, gets 5th place in game number 3. You thought no one was going to catch him. And then Most Hated did everything that they needed to, Zephyr, in that final match, in that final moment, to get 1st place.
And it's not just what starts, or at least what transpires in that final match that garners them this 1st place position, right? It's the fact that we saw a level of consistency from Most Hated always being there, you know, among the final 6-7 teams to continue accumulate points that kept them competitive in comparison to Void, who had an absolute blast to start with, but weren't really able to sustain any kind of amount past, I'd say, around 20 for the rest of the night.
And you got to give credit to Internerd Gaming as well as BP. But, you know, what's a competitor of BP? Mobile 1. And Mobile 1's better. So let's talk about the Mobile 1 high-performance moment of that final match right there. And it looks like it is going to be towards the tail end where MJ lays down that Horizon black hole, tosses down the Arc Stars, plays the bubble perfectly, but it's these shots right there that were just so strong. The 180 under the Valkyrie into the air, switching on over to the PK and landing these shots again, needing all of these kill points along the way. It was a very, very tight-knit race to get that 1st place. They could not afford to get 3rd place. They could not afford to get 2nd. They needed virtually every single point to get this one done, and they were able to do so. Zephyr, final thoughts on that final moment right there, that Mobile 1 high-performance moment?
For Most Hated there, it couldn't have been more perfect. Internerd Gaming came in poised to find success after punishing kind of everyone who was within the area from across the bay, and even their rotation was solid. So for, you know, Most Hated to pull the trigger when they did, to capitalize off of what was a perfect singularity and then just clean up the rest, I mean, had they been a little bit more reserved, it's very likely that we could have seen Internerd Gaming take a straight 3v3 with a bit more of an advantage there.
A lot of different zones, which was really exciting. A lot of different variety of gameplay. Some teams playing passive, some teams playing aggressive, but it was consistency and it was how you ended, not how you started. That's the kind of motto of the day today here in day number 2 of 4 here for our qualification process. But hey, we still have 2 more days left to find out which teams are going to be those partner teams going into Season 5. Zephyr, absolute blast casting with you today, my man. We're going to toss this one back on over to Yeso at the studio to close the show.
Thank you, gentlemen. It was a blast to get to listen to you both all today, and I'm looking forward to more Apex action through the rest of the week. Most Hated pulling out the victory here with that win in the final game. They jump ahead of Void and take first place tonight, and they'll be feeling really good with those points up on the board as they're trying to qualify for this season. A reminder, we are back the next 2 days to finish out qualifiers, so we'll be back here. Games will start at about 4 p.m. Pacific time with the stream kicking off when the finals lobby is ready. That should be around 6 p.m. Pacific time, so make sure you're here for that. And it will be 2 hours earlier on Saturday. 2 p.m. start for games. Finals should start around 4 p.m. on Saturday. So don't miss out on the last 2 qualifiers here for Season 5 of Series E Apex Legends. It's going to be a blast, and I'm certainly looking forward to it. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I certainly had a lot of fun. So for myself, the live broadcast crew, everybody here at Esports Arena, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow.